this out for YouTube. What's going on, YouTube? My chair was a little sideways. I have like OCD with that. But anyway, the story of the day is the science settled, or they say the science is settled, and we're going to talk about why it's not, using examples from the World Health Organization, Fauci, the CDC, I guess all these mainstream people who tell you that the science is settled. And then we'll even talk about climate change. And, that's one of the popular things they talk about. Well, the science is settled. It's concrete. You're not allowed to disagree with it. You're not allowed to debate it. You're not allowed to challenge on the altar of science. Although when they're wrong, or when they make a prediction like the glaciers that were supposed to melt in 2020, there's actually a CNN article. They said that the glaciers were going to melt. They had signs up at a park, and they had to take the signs down because the signs were wrong. So for 10 years or however long the science, that's settled science. You do not question the science on that science. The best scientists in the world, in the country, decided that these are going to be gone in 2020. It's 2021. They're still there. The science go down. What does that mean? The science wasn't settled. And I think science by itself, you could make an equation, a theory. You could come up with the theory of relativity, gravity, all of these amazing things that so many smart people have done. But even they know it's called the theory of relativity. And even gravity, as strong as it is, if somebody could prove it wrong in some way with an equation or with proof, everything is really up for show. Of course, things like drinking water, all humans need water to survive, right? Of course. But if somebody could prove otherwise and live for 10, 15 years with no water, then that's still challengeable, even though it would be difficult to disprove. But that's the talk of the day. And I also have a thing with my finger that happened. I know some people know here I broke it. I had an avulsion fracture, and I went to 2 different doctors. And, this is kind of what inspired me to do this stream, because it's always interesting to me. I had one doctor tell me, don't use your hand for 3 months. You could stretch it, do some stuff with it, but, put it in a cast for 3 months. I go see another hand specialist, and they're both specialists. And he says pretty much the opposite. He says, you should take it off and you should start using it again now. And I'm thinking to myself, that doctor told me not to use it for 3 months. You're telling me to use it. So 2 hand specialists, 2, high-rated doctors, 2 scientists, and, people well-renowned in their field. I guess a doctor, but technically they could be a scientist to anybody doing science in some form. And I have 2 different things. And that's kind of why they say, go get a second opinion, go get a third opinion. You're not supposed to be able to say, well, coronavirus is so new, we don't know that much about it. However, the science is settled, and you're not allowed to talk about other cures. You have to do the ventilators. Are they doing the ventilators still? I'm not sure. I don't know if that was a good idea, but when they were doing it, it was a good idea. And you weren't even allowed to question it. There was a doctor who went viral saying, I don't think the ventilators are working. This was getting censored. This was getting smeared. And now I don't hear anybody talking about ventilators. Maybe they're still using them. Maybe they're not. Maybe in some countries, maybe in some hospitals. But I'm just saying, there's certain things that in the field of medicine, in the field of science, in the field of even climatology, or whatever they want to call it. I don't know the exact term of the climate science. There should be debate, discussion, conversation, and you should be able to bring a convincing argument to the table. It's total ego, it's total politics, and it's total propaganda to say that the science is settled. That's like a communist, authoritarian, some would even say fascist, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, ideology of like, this is what I say it is, and you're not even allowed to question it. It's not science, folks. And we could go through little examples, last year examples, and climate examples of why it's just a total joke. And I think people here are pretty smart. Someone said, use your mind to heal. Hold on, let's take a second. It's still a little broken, but I appreciate it. I tried. You use your mind to heal. What's up, Dustin? He said your boy's live. Yeah. So before I start on YouTube, always takes a little bit to get rolling. It takes a little longer. Facebook, we were getting a couple thousand. Now we're getting 900. I mean, I used to never drop below 1,000 ever, even on like my worst stream. So, I'm not going to cry victim, but I get Facebook. They make it harder to click the link. They don't show everybody. Maybe people don't like me because I said Trump was a vaccine salesman. I'm not really sure what it is, but I don't care. It's always evolving, adapting. In order to get to this point, I've had to learn what they're doing, whether it's justified or not, and make adaptations. So no excuses. I still appreciate the people who are here, and it'll eventually make its rounds. And I got new videos for Instagram and stuff coming soon. So the thing that inspired this stream, I'm just going to go through it again because I already said it. I broke my thumb. Excuse me. I had a moderate avulsion fraction. So you see my thumb right here. You probably can't see, it's a little fat on the outside. A little bit of my bone ripped off from the tendon or something, and it ripped a piece of the bone and it's displaced. It's not in the right space. So I went to one hand specialist after I got an x-ray at urgent care, and he said to wrap it up for 3 months, don't work out, don't do anything for 3 months. And I was like, let me go see another hand specialist. So I go to another hand specialist, and he says, you should be I said, can I work out? He said, you can work out. The other one, I said, can I work out? He said, you can't work out. I can't work out? No, don't work out. I can work out? I can't. Yeah, do work out. So I should. And I'm asking him, I'm like, but he said this. He's like, well, I said this. So, right there, is the science settled? This is a small example. It's just a personal example, but I'm getting conflicting options. I'm thinking about seeing a third person, or just maybe using my head and doing what I think is right. But even in something that's like pretty basic, like the bone is off the thing, they didn't do an MRI, but it's, in this type of injury, I wouldn't say it varies that often, that much. Like, he's probably seen this 100 times. So these are two professionals giving me totally different information about the same injury that they both saw exactly the same. So is the science settled even in this? Maybe one of them's a quack. Maybe they both are. But no, it's not. Different people have different things. And I've heard with avulsion fractures, I've been doing a lot of research, some people, when a big piece of the bone breaks off, they do surgery. Others say not to do surgery. There's different ways to do practices. And just for humor, I asked this doctor, I said, is there anything I could do nutrition-wise in order to speed up the healing process? He said, no, nutrition doesn't matter. And I'm thinking to myself, nutrition doesn't matter. So if I eat McDonald's for 2 months, that would be the same as if I took calcium, and worked out. Maybe he's right, but that doesn't sound right to me. I know that there's certain, processes the body goes through, and I would think that diet and fitness matter a little bit, but he says it doesn't. So I mean, it's hard to really trust some of these doctors, but that's a small example where two professionals, same injury, two different stories. And here's a recent one that I talked about yesterday in my live stream. Yesterday, this is literally within 24 hours. The World Health Organization had on their website, it was under the vaccine advice. The World Health Organization had children should not be vaccinated for the moment. A lot of people in the medical, fighting against medical tyranny, conservatives, liberty fighters, they saw that. We posted it everywhere. People talked about it. And today it's completely gone. Remember I said that yesterday? I'm not a liar. I checked for myself. I didn't just go off of a screenshot. I went to the World Health Organization website yesterday, and it said right on the website in bold letters, children should not be vaccinated for the moment. Today, I go back to the website, it's completely gone. It doesn't exist anymore on the website. Why? I thought the science was settled. Well, the science is so not settled that the World Health Organization pretty much changed, the wording of what they were suggesting for children within a split second. Of course, the World Health Organization said it was a 3.4 death rate last March. They were wrong about that. I knew they were wrong. So did a lot of people, but they don't care because they have this authoritarian God status. We're the World Health Organization. If you go into the origins of the World Health Organizations and the United Nations, I did a whole video on it. I can't remember exactly the year, but it was after World War II. A lot of people don't know this because they think, okay, America, we defeated Hitler. We defeated, Nazi Germany. Who did we align with to do so? We aligned with the Soviet Union. We created the United Nations with the help of Stalin, who was the leader of Soviet Union at the time. People like Mao Zedong were rising into power in China. And the first get up of the United Nations, which is the World Health Organization, World Health Organization's part of the United Nations, we pretty much created that with Zedong, Stalin, and these communists. So this idea, when people think to themselves, man, the World Health Organization and the United Nations, it seems really communist. Conservatives and Republicans and right wingers say this, and everyone's like, oh my God, they just call everything communism. And in some cases it's true, but also it was created by communists. So it does seem very communist to me what they're doing because they were created by communists. And I still think a lot of people there have the communist ideology of, we're going to do all this stuff in the name of equity, social justice. We're going to take control of everything, centralized power, centralized banking, centralized media, centralized communications. And they've gotten to work hand in hand with Facebook and Google, who has nearly a complete monopoly on search engine and social media at this point. They're getting pretty close. Between those two companies, they own and control a huge portion of the internet that we all use. and they work with the World Health Organization. So they'll tell you that the science is settled. The World Health Organization cannot be questioned. And then when they're wrong time and time again, they just say, oh no, we're learning. We're evolving, because the data is not fully in yet. And even when the data is fully in, just like with my avulsion fracture, you're going to have one doctor say one thing, one doctor say the other thing. And it's that competition that allows the best to thrive. And if a doctor's really good, the word's going to get out. To me, that's what free market is. Of course, capitalism can be a scam as well, just like communism can be a scam. But the free market is, you can't just have one food shelter in town and we all eat from the food shelter. The food will probably suck. We want to have a Thai restaurant. We want to have Japanese. We want to have the Mexican spot, the American Mexican spot, the Mexican spot. It's that competition. And then if the food's good and the vibes are good, that restaurant thrives. That's how the free market works. It should be the same with medicine, where of course, you don't want someone to just kill their patients, but this idea that you can't question the World Health Organization and you have to follow the science of the CDC, it's been a total scam from the jump, and it's hurting our country. So, they seem communist because it was created by literal communists, and they're following in those footsteps of, you can't question us, but we question ourselves. Before I go on to the climate science, Fauci was the king of saying for months, and the media and the press and the social media companies that work hand in hand with them, who work hand in hand with Big Pharma and the vaccine coalitions, they said, you cannot question us. When Fauci says something, when the CDC says something, it's settled. They're the authorities. They are the experts. And then when he flip-flops, well, don't wear masks, do wear masks, do wear that, don't wear that. It's not a lab leak, it's a lab leak. It's this, it's that, it's that, it's this, it's this, it's that, it's that, it's this. How come, and they asked him on TV, how come you were wrong so many times? And he used the excuse that I said, which is actually true. He's telling the truth for once. He said, well, he didn't say it in these words, but essentially he says science doesn't settle. I'm learning and evolving, and that's what science is. As we gather new information, we change our mind. And he's right. That is what science is. But when he's not wrong, or when he doesn't want to put the illusion that he's wrong, he says he can't possibly be questioned, not by other doctors, not by other scientists, not by citizens, not by journalists. Don't do that. And then when he is wrong, he tells the truth. It says, actually, science doesn't really settle. We're just learning as we go along. We don't really know that much. That's why we flip-flop so much. So it's one big joke. Someone said they're spraying us like bugs. Thank you for the super chat, Iron Man. But if you want me to read it, wait till the end, because when I'm on a roll, I don't want to look at the super chats. I'm gonna mess up. So I want to go to climate science, and I used to be. This is why they brought me on Fox News one time. It was funny. They put me as like ex-climate activist, which in some ways true. I wasn't like a huge activist or anything, but I'm like, Fox, people already know me on your channel. You don't have to like introduce me as like this climate guy, but whatever. I used to like Leonardo DiCaprio, these documentaries, Al Gore. This really got my gears going when I was younger. I was like, I'm trying to save the world. I think the corporations are corrupt. The elders are corrupt. Like we're the kids, we're the kids of America, whatever. So I like these climate documentaries. And it wasn't until I got older and I started learning about all the other deceptions of the media and the deceptions of, I would say, the left. I knew some of them, but some of them I got trapped. I started looking into climate science because I was like, well, of course, I believe in all of this. It's real. It's scientific. But, I started to be more open-minded. So I saw people like Randall Carlson on Joe Rogan. I saw the CEO or the founder of the Weather Channel just go off on Brian Stelter and say that they're lying. And Brian Stelter just got dominated by this guy. He said, the science is not settled. So I started looking into it and I came to this conclusion. And it's interesting because I was talking to a buddy of mine last week and he brought the same thing up. And I was like, dude, I've always said this for a while. It's such a simple thing when it comes to the science of climate, but nobody talks about it. So they try to tell you that the science is settled. The planet is warming. There's too much carbon in the air. It is a pollutant, not a gas. It's a pollutant. It's a gas, but it's polluting, and it's gonna, the oceans are gonna rise, and the ice caps are gonna melt, and it's settled science. If you don't agree with what I just said, you're not a debater. You're a science denier. That's the propaganda term. They say science denier. You're a climate denier. You deny the climate. It's like me walking into a place that's snowing and me being like, is this a volcano? They're like, no, it's snowing. What are you, a climate denier? that would be a proper use of climate denier. But if you're having a discussion about climate change and the climate changing, you're not a climate denier. That's like calling you an anti-vaxxer if you respectfully decline one of 1,000 vaccines that they put in front of you. It's made up. But the biggest part of the fraudulent climate, I guess, denier agenda or whatever they say is, okay, so our planet's heating, right? It's getting too hot overall. Even though we're having record lows in some areas, there's still glaciers. Okay, let's say it is heating up. In the equation of how hot our planet is, there's something that's the most important thing. Without it, we would all freeze to death instantly. Do you know what that's called? Most kids draw it. I used to draw it very good because I was a crappy drawer. This was easy. You just do a little half circle right up the side of the screen and put out little rays. The sun heats up the planet, right? That's what we think. That's what we're pretty sure of. You look at the sun in the sky. When it's in the sky, it's really hot. When it goes down, it's really cold. The sun literally heats our planet. And in the equation of the heat on our planet, the sun, I would say, is one of the most important, if not unquestionably the most important variable in that equation. So the sun could get hotter or colder at any second. I mean, of course, we can study it with a telescope. We're like ants to the sun. You know what I'm saying? We're like ants looking at a human. Yeah, you could look at me, but I could also stomp on you. So any ant, no offense, I'm not trying to, I love the ants. I'm actually an ant activist. Everyone says, save the dogs, save the pigs, save the cows. I'm like, what about the ants? This is another funny thing, but I'm also serious. How come people don't care about ants and bugs? It's because they're so small, you know, no one cares about it. They can't see the expressions on an ant, so they just step on it and don't think twice. They're killing things all the time every time they walk, and they don't even realize it. So I say jokingly, but I'm also serious. I'm an ant activist. You monsters at PETA never talk about ants because they're so tiny. You know, you can't even see the cute little face they have. So I actually do like ants. When I was young, one used to play on me, and I thought it was like my friend. I was a loser. It's okay. Anyway, back to the story. The sun heats up the planet. So an ant studying me doesn't matter. I could at any time, unfortunately, destroy him. The sun, I could study it. I could sit next to Fauci, Bill Gates, Bill Nye, the science guy, aka Shill Nye, the Democratic Party spy guy. That's what I call him. I just think it's funny. Neil deGrasse Tyson. I like to call him Neil deGrasse Fed Bison Tyson because I think that's funny as well. It just rhymes and kind of has a cool touch to it. I could sit with every top scientist on the planet, physicists, astrophysicists, everybody. Line them up. Get Harvard there. Get Johns Hopkins there. Get the geniuses from China there. And all of their opinions about what the sun does are interesting and fascinating, but at any second, the sun is really in control. That's why in the Hawaiian culture, they pray to Peele, which is the volcano god, because it's a similar thing. Maybe the science is not settled. Maybe there's someone that I don't know about who controls volcanoes. I don't think so. I think it's Mother Nature and Earth. But that's my theory. I'm pretty sure about it, but you could question my theory. You just got to prove it. If you have no proof, I'm going to go with that theory. That's a theory. That's science. So, volcanoes are natural. Yes, maybe we can act nice to the nature, but at any second in Hawaii, these volcanoes go off and a whole neighborhood's underground. The sun is very similar. We're blessed, and this is why Aztecs and Mayans and a lot of these ancient cultures, they used to pray to the sun, because they looked at it like a god. They gave it its own god status because it is God one way or another, regardless of what you believe. We're blessed with life. With no sun, I freeze to death. With no sun, I can't get a tan and be darker than Kamala Harris. With no sun, I can't, I can't be darker than Sean King. But in general, it's a blessing and it's out of our control. So regardless of what every climate scientist says on the planet, the sun is heating our planet. So if you're not at least humble enough to say, well, this is what I think on the planet, and I'm pretty sure as far as all this stuff, but that is the biggest part of the equation. And if at any second that shoots out solar flares or gets cooler or does something that we're unexpected, it's out of our control. That's the truth. The science can never be settled when it comes to climate change because the main variable and the main heat source, rather, might be a better word for it, in the equation is the sun. That is so far out of our control. If you get close enough to the sun, you'll probably die from heat, regardless of what you think. So this is a fraudulent propaganda term of the left wing and the Democrats and the Communist World Health Organization. And they have brainwashed and convinced millions of kids. And I know because I was one of these kids, they've brainwashed millions of kids to think that the science is settled. You can't possibly question the science of climate change, even though the main heat source in the entire equation is so far completely out of our control. It's ridiculous. And the false equivalencies. And when I was young, I watched the movie, what was it called? Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore. And he's got me convinced that we're all going to die within 20 years. I'm freaking out because I'm like, listen, I want to be 30 years old, which I am now, or I'm in the 30s. But in general, I'm like, I don't want to die. I don't want the world to die. I love humans, whatever. And, he's got me convinced that the whole world's going to be underwater. And he made some pretty fake claims early in the 2000s or maybe in the 90s. He referenced scientists, but said, I think it might all be underwater. Or this might happen in 2000. He was wrong. Just like I'm going to look up the story real quick because I don't want to misquote. Me, I like my accuracy. So hopefully I don't mess up my microphone, but I think it's CNN Glacier Park Signs 2020. This is what I'm searching. Yeah, here it is. Glacier Park. This is CNN, by the way. Very, very trusted news. So, got to stick with the trusted experts or else they freak out on Facebook. But CNN even admits Glacier National Park is replacing signs that predicted its glaciers would be gone by 2020. The signs at Glacier National Park warning that its signature glaciers would be gone by 2020 are changed. The signs in the Montana park were added more than a decade ago to reflect climate change forecasts at the time by the U.S. Geological Survey, park spokeswoman said. In 2017, the park was told by the agency that the complete melting of all of the glaciers was no longer expected to take place so quickly due to changes in the forecast model. So 10 years ago, when they added the signs, they would have told you, hey, you are a climate denier, conspiracy theorist, far-right, alt-right, neo-Nazi, Republican shill, conspiracy theory, Alex Jones, for suggesting that the glaciers wouldn't melt. And the truth is, what's their name again? The National Geological or the U.S. Geological Survey, they were wrong. They just did science bad. And anybody else who questioned them did science better. Science is open for everyone. There is no monopoly on science, and they suck at it, just like a lot of government agencies. So, they'll have you convinced that you can't question it, but they keep getting wrong because they're not trying to be right. And this is like, what they've done with climate change. If you've watched what happened with COVID-19, it's the same thing. Is something going on? Of course, something's going on. Well, if you have billions of humans and billions of pollution and billions of trash in the ocean and people just being degenerates, yes, something's probably going to happen at a certain point. But just like with COVID, it's like, yeah, when you have a country that's obese and pill popping and doesn't take care of themselves and now is sheltering in place and hiding. And yeah, I mean, people are definitely going to get hurt. And there's, if there's a lab leak or if it happens naturally, but most likely not naturally, whatever, if something gets out there and adds to the equation of things we're already dealing with in this world, then yeah, there's a possibility people are going to get hurt. But this idea that lockdowns are settled science and, this vaccine that's not yet FDA approved, that's, getting pumped out to the masses, that they're so sure about it, right? They're so sure that they're not even sure when your third dose comes. So how settled can the science of the vaccine be? And I'm not, listen, if anybody from Facebook's watching, I'm not questioning it. I'm not hesitant. All these propaganda terms you guys made up. I'm just saying Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, Fauci, Bill Gates, the World Health Organization, all of the wizards and warlocks that you guys consider scientists, they don't even know when the third dose is. So the science is so not settled. They're learning as they go. And because this didn't have 4 or 5 years of human test trials, the humans who got it are the test trial. You are the test. Not the literal test, but I mean, yeah, you'll find out what happens in 4 years, not from a trial, from us. So, they'll figure out as time goes along, get your third dose now. And they're still trying to figure out how long natural immunity lasts. There's a debate in the scientific community for how long natural immunity lasts. Some people think forever. Some people think a year. Some people think 2 years. I'm guessing it's not forever. I mean, I don't know, but with the flu, you could catch the flu a second time. So there's got to be a window where you don't catch it again. But at the same time, who knows? This is all the point I'm getting to is this is all debatable. And this, if you have a good argument for it, you bring it to the table, and then another science wizard brings another argument to the table, and that's science. They're trying to do communist authoritarian propaganda under this guise of settled science. And I think more people are starting to catch on, but it should be so obvious. So all of these things, whether it be Al Gore's prediction, the Glacier National Park prediction, there's another good article that I want to bring up. I always bring this up. because let me see. They call this like the world's fastest melting glacier. Let me see. Jacob Shavin Glacier grows 3 years straight. This threw them off, all the experts and stuff. So new NASA data shows that the Jacob Shavin Glacier, Greenland's fastest moving and fastest thinning glacier for most of the 2000s, grew from 2018 and 2019, which was 3 consecutive years of growth. So I guess in 2017, 18, 19, or 18, 19, 20, it grew. They've dubbed this the fastest thinning glacier of the 2000s. Okay, it's the fastest thinning glacier, and it's growing for 3 years. So isn't that just fascinating? And they put out all these funny articles like, let me see, National Geographic says, a Greenland glacier is growing. That's not good news. That's the headline. That's not good news. Guys, we told you that this was going to melt away, and it's growing. It's actually not thinning anymore. It's growing for 3 consecutive years, but that's not good. They do the same thing with COVID. And there was a study that reached so far and wide that Bill Maher even talked about it, where in America, the news is always bad. He said in other European countries, the news isn't even this bad. I'm sure it's more left-wing in some ways, but our news is very wicked in this country. So he said even as COVID was going away and getting better and the numbers were going down, the news was still saying it's not a good thing. Yeah, it's going down, but it's not good. No, you shouldn't go back to normal. You should be scared. You should be fearful. Yeah, but there's a second wave coming. There's a Delta wave. There's an India wave. There's this wave. There's that wave. Do they tell you about the science of variants of the flu, how we've had variants always for the flu, and every year they met, and tried to figure out which hemispheres were going to get which flu variants, and how the vaccine was not always fully efficient because they choose the wrong variant sometimes for the vaccine, because it's really unpredictable at a certain point when flu's around for so long and there's all these variants. So this idea that with COVID-19, is it great that there's going to be multiple variants? I mean, I guess ideally just there would be nothing and no mass testing and no mass hype over it. But as far as, is this some sort of shocking revelation that's like unfathomable? It's like they're gonna fearmonger over this stuff because that's what they do. And I predict that in September, October, November, December, what did they used to call that? For the last 70, 80 years, they called that the flu season, because once November, December, January hits, the weather starts getting colder, it snows, there's not as much sunlight in some areas, and people don't get out as much. People get more sick and they get respiratory illnesses like the flu. So we dubbed it the flu season. It's not some sort of crazy, shocking conspiracy theory. It's that's just what happens in the winter, and we've known that for 80 plus years now. But the flu has disappeared, say the experts and scientists who are so trustworthy and would never lie to you. So where'd the flu go? I could have gone for this and that and mitigation measures and the vaccine and this. I mean, it never went away, but now it did. Okay, so the flu is virtually almost not even there anymore because they're not testing and diagnosing it as much as they are COVID. So now we have COVID. So is it crazy to think that in November, December, and January, COVID cases are going to go up? I would be more shocked if they went down, because that's the flu season. And now the flu has been replaced with COVID-19. That's the new wave. So it's going to be COVID season, and the Democrats and the Faucis of the world are going to fearmonger over new variants and the fact that there's a surge, just like there was a surge every year in our lifetime of some sort of infectious disease. And they're going to use that as propaganda to take more money, more control, more power, and probably try to shut down the blue states again. I hope not, because I live in one. So these are the games that they play. On one hand, they say that the science is settled. It's not questioned. On the other hand, they're always fumbling and saying that they're allowed to fumble because the science isn't settled. I don't know how people don't believe them anymore, but it's ridiculous. And on this topic, I used to do a lot of videos on this. If people watch me for a few years, you've probably seen a few. I'm so knowledgeable about it. I went on Fox News and kind of explained on there, what I know as somebody who used to be really into climate activism and climate change and all of the Leonardo DiCaprio type stuff, and someone who now has seen both sides of the argument, and I realize how weak that side of the argument is. There's also on the NASA website, they explain how much that they could measure on their satellites, and they admit that you could see all of Antarctica and you could see where it's melting, you could see where it's growing, and the middle is white and isn't a color, and they say it's because there's so much snowfall, they can't even measure the snowfall. So their data is not even complete when it comes to measuring the ice in Antarctica. At the time when I used to read it back in 2018, 2019, because the satellites can't pick that up. So it's it's the same as saying the science is settled with the vaccines. Okay, the science is settled. So when's the third dose and the fourth dose and the fifth dose? Is it every 5 years, every 10 years, every year, twice a year, 3 times a year? What is it? We're not sure yet. We'll figure it out. So it's not settled. You don't know because you're not sure. You're learning as you go along. The test trials, the FDA approval type test trials, they haven't finished yet because the vaccine is not FDA approved. If you Google, is the vaccine FDA approved? They give you the runaround like Fauci does. You say, is the vaccine approved? I'll just read what it says actually, because it's actually fascinating. I'm going to do a video on it. Let's see. Common questions. This is right off Google. It says common questions. Are COVID vaccines approved by the FDA? And it says millions of people in the United States have received COVID-19 vaccinations since they were authorized for emergency use by the FDA. These vaccines have undergone and will continue to undergo the most intensive safety monitoring in U.S. history. So if you read that, they don't specifically say it was FDA approved, but they say millions of people got them. They're the safest we've ever done, and it's been authorized for emergency use. What they're not telling you is, yes, it has been emergency use authorized, but they're actually not FDA approved. You have to go to the fact sheet on the Pfizer BioNTech or the Johnson & Johnson, and you can see specifically it says there is no U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved vaccine to prevent COVID-19. There is no U.S. FDA approved vaccine. There is none. It's not approved. But they won't tell you that. The science is so settled, but it's not settled. So the reason they don't know when the third dose or the fourth or the fifth dose of the vaccine is because it's not FDA approved yet. And in order to be FDA approved, it takes longer than they have right now. That's just the facts right from the fact sheet. And the more they know and the more things go on, the more they'll be able to figure out when they could get that third dose in. And trust me, they want to try, because what a convenient business model. You could shut down the whole planet, give the entire world your product, ban them and treat them like a slave and a prisoner for not having got your product. You have no liability, immunity, complete immunity from liability, no matter who dies, who gets heart disease, who gets sick, who gets this, who gets that. No matter what the side effect is, you don't have to pay for a single dollar for it. That's the sweetheart deal that they got. And it's not like they're just working kind of with the government. The government actually owns part of the Moderna vaccine. The NIH, National Institute of Health, has a part of the joint ownership over the Moderna vaccine. So the government actually owns it. That's not a conflict of interest. So they could work hand in hand with big pharma and the corporate class. They shut down the world. All the big tech companies make a fortune because now you can't go to work. So Facebook and Zoom and Uber Eats are just making a killing, and your mom and pop shops are getting shut down. So the tech companies are in on it. They're telling you to lock down. They're capitalizing off it. Big Pharma is telling you to lock down. They have 9 new pharma billionaires, and now they get to scare the crap out of everybody and work with the sports leagues, probably giving money to each other, but I'm not sure. And now they can say you can't go to this event if you don't get vaccinated. So their product, they have no liability for it. It's not even FDA approved yet. And they could hold people for ransom, threaten them, and treat them like a slave prisoner in a segregated society over their product. What a deal. They're going to make a killing because you're not allowed not to get it in certain areas, or you're going to lose your job. In some cases, your family member, you can't see your aunt, you can't see your little niece. These are the deals people are giving each other because they're freaking out over this stuff. So these are the games that they play in the science community. But for the sake of this video, I don't want to get too off topic. They say that the science is settled. All the ways that it's not. You just had the World Health Organization change their website within 24 hours yesterday. You had Fauci change his mind 5 different times and then finally admit that science changes. Yes, it does. You're right, Dr. Fauci. You're totally right. I went to 2 different hand specialists and they told me 2 exactly opposite things because the science doesn't settle. Different doctors would handle it different ways. Some doctors suck, some doctors don't. But in general, there are 2 different ways to treat the same thing. And certain people recommend different things, and different people will have different results. And when it comes to climate change, besides all of the other stuff, the most obvious reason that you can say you have a lot of data, but you can't say that it's settled because the main heat source in the equation is literally the sun. And the sun is so hot, it could freeze or heat up the planet at any given moment. And it's completely, as far as I know, out of human control. We can't control it unless somebody here has a remote control, which I doubt. But in general, it's like we can't control that. And that's the main part of the equation. It's these pseudo-intellectual liberals who think that they're going to change the climate of the earth but they don't even think about the sun. They don't believe in God, a lot of them. And then they can't even change the climate in their own community when it comes to, you want to clean up the world and you can't even clean up your own city. You want to clean the oceans, but you're polluting billions of plastic masks or like cloth masks with plastic wrappings into the ocean, which is probably completely unnecessary. They can't do any of this stuff. So these are the games that they play, folks. And when it comes to, climate change that they don't talk about, I actually do agree with two types of climate change that I think is pretty settled. I would say from this point on, I wouldn't say it's fully settled because anything could be challenged and it could always change. But I do believe in climate change. Every year where I'm at, and especially on the East Coast and in the center, there's spring, there's summer, there's fall, and there's winter. And then you go over to Alaska and the climate's different. The sun's in a different location. The climate does change 4 times a year, maybe more. So there is climate change every day. The sun goes up, the sun sets. It's light, it's dark, it's sunny, it's cloudy. There's always climate change. So I do agree that the climate changes. And also, there's something called geoengineering. So if you Google, you could say China Geoengineering Olympics. They already have the technology to change the weather in a size as big as Alaska. If you didn't know, Alaska's bigger than Texas. It's the biggest state in the United States of America. So China says they have the technology to change the climate of an area the size of Alaska, our biggest state. They have geoengineering technologies that they brag about. They can make it rain. They can do this. Bill Gates tried to get, I don't remember if he actually succeeded, a patent on hurricane manipulation to try to slow down hurricanes. You could Google that. Bill Gates hurricane technology patent. He filed at one point for a patent, I believe, for hurricane manipulation technology. So as they brainwash all the liberals to think the climate change is the melting of the ice caps and I need to stop eating meat in order to do that, they're literally changing the climate. They're literally geoengineering in other countries, and billionaires are filing patents to change storms and weather. And that's real. That's real climate change that no climate activists talk about. Why does no climate activist talk about geoengineering when it's on Wikipedia, it's on government websites, it's in Bloomberg, it's in Forbes, it's mainstream knowledge, China's bragging about it. It's not a conspiracy theory that you have to go to the dark web to listen to. It's in mainstream news, 30, 40 different places in multiple countries. So why don't they talk about that? Because they're brainwashed. These people have been reduced to just little lemmings, and I feel bad because they mean well, but they're completely brainwashed. They don't talk about that. And they just do the bidding for the corporate oligarchs and the billionaire class and the media and the political class. That's all they're doing. And organizations like the World Health Organization and the United Nations, who were literally started by communists. And I'm going to read real quick. I'm just going to do a little search for you guys so you believe me. Because if you look up the World Health Organization, it's part of the United Nations. Ready? United Nations, when was it founded and by who? Google, so helpful. The United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945 after the Second World War by 51 countries committing to maintaining international peace and security. All right, let's see who that was. Roosevelt's idea of the 4 powers, referring to the 4 major allied countries, the United States, the United Kingdom, Soviet Union, and the Republic of China. That's interesting. The Republic of China and the Soviet Union. So let's see. That was in 1945, 1942. Let's see. Soviet Union. Who was the leader in 1945? Let's see. On Stalin's order, the Soviet Union launched a counterattack on Nazi Germany, which finally succeeded in 1945. So it looks like Joseph Stalin at some point was the leader. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could see Joseph Stalin was a dictator of the Soviet Union from 1929 to 1953. So we created the United Nations with Joseph Stalin. And then let's see. Who was the leader of China in 1945? It says Chiang Kai-shek, but you could see that Mao Zedong was also in a position of power. So he was the chairman of the Central People's Government from 1949 and 1954. And in 1954, he became Chairman Mao Zedong. And I don't know, he was in power basically. And so that's what the United Nations literally is. It's been a communist jump off from the beginning, literally. They sold it to America, we defeated Hitler and the Nazis, and we're going to make peace for the world, and we're all going to live together in harmony, and all the bad guys are gone. And then behind closed doors or out in the open, they sat with Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin and said, yeah, let's create an organization that basically at a certain point, like now, will supersede government. It pretty much pushed Trump to the side and said, your opinion doesn't matter. We're the World Health Organization, and we work with Mark Zuckerberg, and we work with Susan Wojcicki of YouTube, and we work with Jack Dorsey, and Instagram is owned by Facebook, and Google owns YouTube. And, we control most of the internet, and you're not allowed to say that because the World Health Organization said so. So we created this organization that's ruling the world outside of our own president with communists, and we got the results that happen when you work with communists. You get communism. So this idea that we defeated communism at one point, I really don't believe that. And I know this might be controversial, but I think we enabled communism in World War II. Obviously, it was I guess I would say difficult situation when you have multiple leaders who are doing stuff. But this idea that we fought communism and America really stopped the communists, I don't know if that's true. I mean, Russia seems like it got over communism a little bit, but the United States has only gotten more communist and more communist and more communist every year since then. So I think we've been bamboozled by multiple organizations. I don't want to get into it. On the left wing, on the right wing, in the churches, there's been multiple political, social, and religious movements since then that have just slowly turned our country into a communist country. And I think that's why you see all the censorship and stuff now. It's not random, but just an interesting little tidbit, and you can look up all this information for yourself. So is the science settled? Of course not. It's a complete propaganda term. And if you didn't know it 2 years ago when we used to talk about it here, I think a lot more people on my channel and a lot of people in the world realize it now, because the same type of manipulation and censorship that they did with COVID-19 and ventilators and lab leak theory and Trump and travel bans and xenophobic and all these tricks that they've done with this to just pervert the discussion so we couldn't have a discussion. They've been doing this with climate change for decades, and they don't have a flawless track record. They have had multiple bad analyses because their analysis is not coming from a scientific angle. It's coming from a political and social angle. And, now they're finding out tricks and stuff to, bring it back. But, there is a discussion to be had about carbon. There is a discussion to be had about temperature. There is a discussion to be had about the amount of people on planet Earth. I do believe those are all valid discussions, but there is no monopoly on science with that discussion. And when it comes to carbon, and it's tree food. Trees create carbon. So if you Google India, they planted tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of trees. They broke the world record planting trees the other year. So I mean, this idea that we need to suck all this out of the air because we're all going to die from heating, when it's literally plant food, and that's the cycle of life. Is trees exhale what we inhale and inhale what we exhale, and we exhale what they inhale and we inhale what they exhale. That's why hippies love plants. I love plants, and I'm not get your mind out of the gutter. I'm not talking about that, but I love plants. Like, plants keep us alive. It breathes out oxygen. We breathe in oxygen. We breathe out what it breathes in. It's a beautiful cycle of life. So all these liberals and pseudo-intellectual morons, they try to play God, and they end up doing what probably happened in that Wuhan Virology Institute, which is gain of function research, where you take a coronavirus in a bat that can't possibly transmit into humans, and you manipulate it and you make it transmit into humans. And then you lie about it when it comes out and say, oh no, it can't possibly be. It's like, why were you doing that? To study for a cure. Why do you need a cure for something that doesn't even exist yet? Well, now they have a cure for something that does exist. So they brought it here. They got the cure. Isn't that convenient? 9 new billionaires. These people are frauds, folks. And a lot of people are catching on. So God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. And God bless humanity. There is an anti-human agenda on the foot that claims to be pro-environment. A lot of these people are not pro-environment, they're anti-human. And you'll figure that out as time comes. And it's the same thing with these racial activists. It's like, a lot of these race activists, they're not pro-black. A lot of them are just, I would say, anti-black and anti-white. They're just anti-prosperity for American citizens. They subvert the black community, they subvert the white community, and then they attack people who are strong and smart, whether you're black, white. I mean, some of my favorite people in America, I don't look at people and say, oh, I only like white people. I just love a good soul. So if I see like a Nigerian mom or like an African mom who just crushes, you love to see it. I talked to an Indian guy and it's like, he's awesome. I just like cool people. So it's like when you're that person, they hate you just as much as they hate me. It's like they don't like people who push against their BS, angry, like, neurotic agenda of like mental illness that they hide and pretend is activism. They don't like anybody. So before I don't want to get on a tangent, but I did see, Jordan Peele. I don't know if you guys know Jordan Peele. He's got a new documentary or movie coming out called Karen, where he pretty much demonizes suburban moms. And, it's a story of a black family going to the suburbs and an angry white woman just doing too much and being racist. And it's so funny to me because people like Jordan Peele, the exact same thing as Colin Kaepernick, except slightly different. Jordan Peele, if you don't know, he's a half black, half white comedian. Very funny guy. I loved him on Mad TV. I loved him on Key and Peele. He's hilarious. But if you look up his Wikipedia, his dad was black. His mom was white. He's half white. Okay, so was he raised by his father? No, his dad left him. So he was raised by his white mother. He was raised in an affluent, prominent area of New York City by his white mother in a privileged life because his white mom stuck around and put him in a nice area instead of let him grow up in the hood. So he lived a privileged life. That's why he's so smart. That's why he's so educated, because of his white mom. He grows up, goes to liberal schools in New York City. And then he becomes an activist that's just so always blaming white people and just acting like he's so oppressed. And then he marries a white woman. It's like these people are so fake. And I'm guessing he probably lives in a wealthy area surrounded by mostly white people and just hates it so much because he just makes tens of millions of dollars and he directs movies and his life is just so rough. And it's the same thing as Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick, God bless his soul, he had a black father and a white mother. If you look up his story, his black father, I believe, left the family, and then his white mom put him up for adoption. And then he was raised by a separate white family, and he lived around all white people, and they took care of him, and they were a great adopted family, and they took care of him, and they raised him right. And then he went to school, and he became a pro athlete, and then he just started sucking at the NFL. No offense, he wasn't even a top 20 quarterback. He was a backup. It's not like he's Muhammad Ali. He's at the top of his game. Muhammad Ali said, I'm not going to war, when he's one of the best boxers in the world. That's activism, not sitting on a knee when you're not even starting on your own team, throwing a fit and then acting like you're this racial activist. How come all these people were raised by white people, saved by white people, birthed by white people, and they want to act like their whole life is like fighting the suburban mom that actually raised them? It's like what they really hate is themselves. Jordan Peele's worst nightmare is a white man who feels the way he feels about white people, about black people. It's all projection. What he sees in the suburbs is how he thinks about white people. He's the most hateful person. He has so much anti-white hate in his heart. I would say 99.9% of white people in America don't have nearly as much racial hate as he himself has. And his worst nightmare is seeing himself in a white man. If there was a white man who felt about black people like Jordan Peele felt about white people, that's what he hates. It's all psychology projection tactics. It's like he needs to forgive his mother, like Jesse Lee Peterson says, because without his white mom, he wouldn't be Jordan Peele right now. His dad left him, his white mom raised him in a rich area, put him in school, and now he has this whole complex where he just hates himself, hates half himself, hates his mom, and wants to blame suburban moms. And a lot of this stuff is in my opinion, it's a psyop because, listen, there are Karens, there's obnoxious suburban white moms. Let's be honest. It's not like I'm above acting like white people are flawless or anything. It's like, no, there's probably thousands of miserable, annoying suburban mothers that have minivans that just yell at people and treat everybody like crap. Of course, there's crappy suburban moms, but this is part of the psyop where right now, as somebody who grew up in an area that, for the most part, where I grew up was pretty safe and pretty nice, these areas are starting to decline. So the suburbs that used to be safe, that used to be nice, that used to be crime-free, now there's more robberies. Now there's more car thefts. Now there's more people coming from out of state and out of city and finding the affluent areas and upticking the crime. So, it's not, I don't think the number one problem in this country is like suburban white women. It's like most white women and suburban white women, They don't care if you're black. They don't care if you're Hispanic. What they don't like is crime. So if somebody like Jordan Peele moved into the neighborhood, no one would care. Everybody would love Jordan Peele because he's a pretty chill guy. He wouldn't even harm a fly. As annoying as he is, he's not like a crime, ridden guy. He's just like a nerdy NYU type, like liberal hipster, half black, half white kid. So it's like, he acts like people in the suburbs are freaking out. It's like, that's not the problem. The suburbs are getting worn down. And as people start to put their foot down and be like, you know what, we don't want to turn into Philadelphia. We don't want to turn into Los Angeles. It's people like Jordan Peele who put out this propaganda and say like, oh my God, you're the worst. Everyone here is so racist. It's like, nobody's racist. But at the same time, people see crime rates in certain areas and people don't want to live there. Why does LeBron James live in a white community? There's a few affluent black areas in America. He could live there. No, he wants to live around white people, and he could live in a safe black area, but he doesn't. But in general, a lot of these other cities, like the crime rates are astronomical. And it's like, you look at these Asian Lives Matter videos, it's a lot of people in the hood just punching Asian peoples in the face. So a lot of suburban moms, they want to raise their family in a safe area. There is no racism. It's just like, if you come to the community and act normal, it's fine. But if you're causing issues and doing stuff, like, yeah, people don't like that. It's like, it's called being a good neighbor. So this idea that it's the number one problem in the world, he's like, white Karens are destroying America. You mean like the white Karen who raised you and put you in a nice school in the nice area of New York? You didn't grow up in the hood. You grew up in the affluent area because you had a white mom. He hates his mom. He hates himself. And, he's projecting onto the world, acting like it's this huge problem, where if it wasn't for his white mother, he probably wouldn't have been Jordan Peele. He probably would have never been famous, never been successful. I'm sure he was intelligent, but, it's hard to unlock all your keys if you don't have a mom who takes care of you like that. So he should appreciate the Karens of the world, like his mother, who put him in the position to be there. And same with Colin Kaepernick. These people are so projection filled. Their worst enemy, this is the realest thing I'll probably say the whole stream, and this whole stream was real. Their worst enemy is finding somebody who thinks like them. This is everything so psychological. You can only meet someone as deeply as you've met yourself. That's an ancient quote. But, Lil Wayne, okay, gangbanger, 20 times as hood as Jordan Peele. Like, Jordan Peele's like a rich suburban kid, city kid, whatever. Lil Wayne is hood. Okay, he doesn't even think racism exists. And people say, what do you mean racism doesn't exist? Like, but they get so mad when Lil Wayne says, I don't like the Black Lives Matter movement. I think it's political. I don't think white people are racist. They hate that, but that's why Lil Wayne doesn't see it, because he's not racist. He doesn't hate white people. He loves white people and he loves black people. He just loves good people. So he knows how nice white people have been, and there's bad white people too. But he says, I don't see racism. He doesn't see it because he's not a racist, and he lives in a world where he doesn't judge people on black or white. So he says, I've never experienced racism. I've experienced fucked up, excuse my language, black guys, and I've experienced effed up white guys. That's how Lil Wayne sees it. Like, that guy's just a bad guy, whether he's black or white. I don't see it like, oh, he's bad because of his race. So they hate the Lil Wayne types, even though he's more hood, because he's like, I got a bunch of white fans. A white cop saved my life. Like, I love white people, and I love black people too. But he's like, I'm not going to act like BLM is this crazy movement. He's like, what really happened was that cop did a messed up thing. That's all it is. It's not like this huge thing you're trying to make it. He was not a racist. It's a complex situation. He did something messed up, and he should be tried honestly as a human being who did something right or wrong. The judges will decide. So, that's the difference in mindset. It's like Jordan Peele is so hateful and so anti-white that he thinks the whole world's out to get him. Lil Wayne doesn't hate white people, so he feels like the whole world's on his side, just like me. It's like, I don't feel like I hate a certain race as much as Jordan Peele hates a race. So I don't see all this racism all over the place because I don't live in that world. It's all like your mindset. And Jordan Peele has the same Childish Gambino type mindset. It's like they went to these hipster liberal areas in New York City, and they're filled with all of this like critical race theory style, like, commie nonsense that just makes them miserable. It's like they have millions of dollars. They crush it on every industry, get Grammys, get Emmys, and they're never happy. And then they just blame Karen, AKA their mother, who raised them. So such a joke. Someone said, if black people hate white people, are they racist? I don't use the word racist anymore. I'm writing a book about it, and I'm retiring the word from my dictionary. I agree with Jesse Lee Peterson. It's not my whole thing, but Jesse Lee Peterson says, I don't see racism. There's no such thing as racism. He says it's good and evil, true and false, right and wrong. That's all it is. So if you have a reason that you dislike a certain white person or white culture or white America or whatever, does it make sense? Is it true? Is it false? Is it right? Is it wrong? Is it productive? Is it not? That's all that matters. I don't see the word racism because I'll just say they hate white people. Is it true hate though? Some people just don't like annoying suburban moms, and there's nothing wrong with not liking annoying suburban moms. But are you pretending like all suburban moms are that annoying suburban mom, and you're not understanding the complex thing going on? So, I think the word racism is overused, and there's different types of people. Like, for instance, I would say there is a problem in certain communities with crime. And I, as somebody who's been mistreated by the police before, there's messed up police. If you go to Canada, they're arresting people for not wearing masks. There's bad police. There's corrupt police who just serve the state. There's cocky, egotistical police who just don't give a crap and treat people like crap. So there's multiple problems going on. Could you say that there's a problem with the police? Of course you could. Yeah, that's a valid thing to say. I agree. Okay, is there also a problem with crime in these inner cities? Of course there is. If you care about Black lives, you have to care about, inner city and gang violence murders, because that's most of them. So these are two problems. Now, take out the word racism. I could call the Black Lives Matter guy a racist. He could call me a racist. That doesn't matter. It's just a word. We're just projecting moral superiority. If I call Black Lives Matter a racist, I'm saying I'm a better person than you. You're a bad person. If they call me a racist, they're saying I'm a better person. It doesn't mean that they are. It's a cop out. It's a bad debate tactic. So take that aside. All right. Is Black Lives Matter trying to help? Are they identifying Black gang violence? Almost virtually not at all. So they clearly don't care about Black lives, because 90+% of Black murders are not even on their radar. They would probably consider it racist. So they don't care about that. So what are they doing with the police? Because I actually agree with them. There's a problem with the police. Well, they want to defund the police. Okay, then what are they going to do? They want social workers. They want to, chase away the police. The cities are getting more dangerous, because as much as I don't like corrupt police, and I've dealt with corrupt police, my life changed when I stopped doing stupid stuff. When I was doing dumber crap, I think when I was younger, 18, 19, college, drinking a lot, whatever, I had a lot more problems with the police. Now that I don't do what I used to do when I was 17, I don't have a problem with the police anymore. At the higher levels, they're all corrupt. So I would say that's, the law enforcement is still very corrupt. But in general, yeah, I'm not this back the blue guy. So there's a problem. But what they do is they make it worse, because they use the word racist as a front, and then they just go with an illogical thing. So it's like, yes, there's a problem with the police. Yes, there's a problem with inner city crime. But if you act like the police are the number one problem in the hood, it's just not true. If you took away the police out of the most crime-ridden area, if you took out the police completely or put in great police that were perfect, crime would still be astronomical. So if you took away the people in those communities and replace them with people who weren't just killing each other all the time, the crime would go down. So I don't think the police are not the number one problem, although you could say they are. So you get what I'm saying? The word racist just confuses it all. It's like, are you able to talk about complex issues and create a solution that's better? Or are you just trying to call everybody racist all the time and just ruin everything that you touch? Like, LA's getting ruined. Portland's getting ruined. The police are quitting. They don't want to work. The whole thing is rotten to the core. It's like, gang violence is not going to stop. Crime on the streets not going to stop. Murders are not going to stop. Robberies aren't going to stop. So they act like none of that exists, because they just hide behind the word racist. So there's a point to be made about the police and law enforcement, especially higher up law enforcement, even higher than the police, that are super corrupt in many ways. But we can never have that discussion, because all they do is just call people racist all the time. So there's a black-white discussion, suburban mom. I'm willing to have all these discussions, but what I'm not willing to do, and why I'm starting to push back against the Jordan Peeles of the world, is because it's 99% just propaganda that has become super hateful. I'm not going to say the word racist, but the hate in his heart for a group of people is what he thinks is like so prevalent in other parts of the world and country, where of course it exists. But I would say the most powerful anti-racial groups in the world are the Jordan Peeles of the world, are the liberals, are the movie makers, are the celebrities, are the press. Like, they have pretty much superseded, MLK style equality with all these crazy rules and regulations that are strictly discriminatory, not just about race. Now they're doing vaccine discrimination. They're segregating the planet based on whether you got the non-FDA approved emergency use authorized mRNA jab. I mean, that's psychotic, so it's who's doing that the hardest? The liberals. They're always the worst culprits of what they're trying to solve. I'm willing to talk about annoying white people and what white people are doing wrong in this country and the world. But if you look at the worst white people in the country and the worst Karens in the country, in my opinion, it's not the Karen suburban moms who are just trying to have a safe neighborhood and look out on the neighborhood. It's the white liberals, just like Malcolm X said, the worst people in the country. Those are the worst white people in our whole country, the ones that align with Jordan Peele and give him money to make his propaganda movies. It's so obvious. And I had something else to say, but I wanted to just tell a story of me being profiled. And because I'm not Jordan Peele and I don't look for it, like I know I'm not black, but I have the Lil Wayne mentality, who's way blacker than Jordan Peele. He says, like, I don't even see it. So he doesn't assume it all the time. If you see it all the time, you think they're targeting you. One example of that is I was with someone years ago. It was my black buddy who's a manager. And he was like, bro, these people on the phone are racist to me. I'm like, who's racist to you? He's like, the phone companies, they're being rude to me. And I'm like, dude, if you don't know, I mean, possibly, but AT&T, Sprint, they don't give a shit about anybody. The worst customer service I've ever dealt with was Sprint. They put me on the phone for 4 hours. They hate everyone. They don't give a, their customer service is so piss poor. So he sees through the lens of race and he thinks he's being targeted because he's black. In reality, it's just the phone companies hate everybody. They don't care at all because they make money and they don't have to treat you good. So it's like I saw the same thing when I moved out of my last neighborhood. That was, I would say, a way less safe neighborhood. I would say it was more diverse. I lived in Los Angeles in the Hollywood area. It's mostly Hispanic, part black, part white, whatever. It's honestly just what Trump said it was, a shithole. I lived there for a while, but Hollywood is way dirtier and way more tent filled than it needs to be. The people there are great, but the politics suck there. But anyway, as I'm leaving the neighborhood, okay, what I'm dealing with in that neighborhood, this is the more crime heavy neighborhood. I'm trying to help the movers and move my stuff, but I have to make a decision. Do I watch I don't want to get robbed. Do I watch my apartment or do I watch the moving truck? So I couldn't even help them move. I had to stand and watch the moving truck because I'm feeling like if I don't watch the moving truck, this moving truck's going to get robbed. That's how shitty the area I was in. It turned from a prominent area, I would say was pretty nice, to being filled with crackheads, filled with degenerates, filled with murders, filled with crimes. So I had to keep an eye on the moving truck the entire time so it didn't get robbed. And I think if I wasn't there, it probably would have got robbed. So I can't wait to get out of there. I'm like, I hate this community. It sucks. It's just been destroyed. I can't wait. So I book it to a nicer area, cleaner, safer, conservative, filled with Karens, the people that Jordan Peele hates. And when my moving truck pulled up, because it was a little rickety, I had a Karen pull right behind us. So there was a Karen in a Tesla. She pulled up right behind the moving truck, and she's doing the exact thing that Jordan Peele's saying. She's looking at it. She's calling somebody. I don't know if she's calling the cops on me. And I'm like, I actually enjoyed it because I had lived in a shitty area. I don't think Jordan Peele's probably ever lived in a shitty area. He's probably, if he lived in the Upper West Side or whatever in New York when he was younger with his white mom, he's probably, lived in the nice area forever. But moving from a shitty area to a nice area, I was actually happy that I was getting snitched on. I appreciated it. I was like, I'm so glad to have neighbors, even though they're trying to profile me. I'm so glad to have neighbors who would rather snitch on somebody doing something wrong than allow my community to turn into a crime-ridden hellhole. People getting jumped, women getting jumped and robbed in broad daylight. Like, yeah, I'd rather have the Karen in a Tesla snitch on me than live in a shithole. So for the first time in my life, I was like, thank you, Karen. Go ahead, call the cops. I don't care. I'm not doing anything wrong, but it's called neighborhood watch in some areas. Like, you got neighbors who watch out for other neighbors. And if there's something sketchy going on, they're looking at it. I actually enjoy that after being in a shitty part of the city for 7 years. I'm like, welcome home. I feel right at home with the Karens and the MILFs. Excuse me. Listen, I mean moms. But so it's like, I don't think as much as he wants to act like he's so tough, I think, if you look at his Wikipedia, he grew up in a very affluent area. So, I mean, maybe he lived and struggled for a while in college, but if he lived in a crappy area for 2 years and then he moved to a white suburb, I would think he'd be relieved to be like, okay, finally, like, there's some neighbors who actually give a crap versus neighbors who just piss all over, like they're crackheads drooling on my mailbox. Like, yeah, tell on me if you want, see what I do. So, it's all perspective, but he hates it so much. It's like, yeah, it's so bad having white women just look out for the community. That's way worse than Philadelphia and Camden and, Los Angeles and Chicago, where you just see people getting mowed down, like black girls getting just murdered on a nearly monthly basis, if not more, multiple black kids getting shot. That doesn't matter to Jordan Peele. There's never going to be a movie about that because that doesn't inspire him. He'll let 100,000 black people die. And by the way, I'm not going to say the Food and Drug Administration, but foods, drugs, overdoses, and, the health diet of America, that's killing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of black people. So if Black Lives Matter, they looked into overdose deaths, which is now crashing our life expectancy, and the, health regimen these liars have them on, that's the stuff that's killing more. But that doesn't matter to Jordan Peele. He's just interested on the people who want to keep the suburbs safe because the country is declining. That's the big problem to him. But just a little perspective. Let me know what y'all think. God bless you. And I will be back soon. I'm going to try to get a video out tomorrow morning. We'll see if it happens. But I feel like I've been away from my computer for a while, so I want to get going. And I have a really interesting angle. I want to do the video. I know I talked about it, but the NFL COVID restrictions, I think they're insane. And I want to do a viral video on Instagram about it. So I'm going to do like a whole breakdown so you can see it, easier to share and stuff. And I think I'm going to get that out for tomorrow, if not the next day. Someone said, first few seasons of Key and Peele are great. Key and Peele is very funny. I like Jordan Peele. I would say I love Jordan Peele. I don't hate him. I don't hate his white side. I don't hate his black side. I love all of Jordan Peele. I love his black father. I don't know him. I love his black mother. His white mother who raised him. I don't hate any part of him or any ethnic part of him. He's a funny guy. He's a talented guy. He's a great comedian. He's a great writer. He's a great director. He is a talented man. Jordan Peele deserves every success he's getting, but he's got this like liberal hipster mentality where it's like, bro, come on, dude. Like it's even people like Childish Gambino. I love Childish Gambino. I love Dave Chappelle, but they have so much hate in their heart where it's like, I feel what I get everybody's allowed to have their own experience and their own pain and stuff. But at a certain point, I'm not just going to sit here and allow them to control the narrative. And I'm not just talking about Dave Chappelle. Like the liberals just puppet these people, brainwash them, and then they act like you're not even allowed to push back against it. The science is settled of racism. It's like, okay, well then let me play a Malcolm X clip because, they all like to hang around white liberals, and Malcolm X, who is much more prominent, I think, than all of them. No offense. They're all very prominent, but Malcolm X is a legend. He didn't feel that way. So there's millions of black people who don't feel that way. So, they try to say you're not allowed to have an opinion about it. Like, we're going to hate on you. We're going to take over. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. We're going to mock you. We're going to make fun. But you can't do any of that. If you do it, it's hate speech. If you do it, they're banning songs on Spotify for pushing back against the LGBT agenda. It's like these people think they use sexuality, they use race as a front. And if you find somebody that's gay and on your side or whatever of politics, they don't care. They don't actually care about those people's ethnicity or sexuality. They just use it as a human shield to push their narrative. And when you counter it, they just act like you don't exist. They'll treat you like anyone. Someone said, talk about this new socialistic democracy. I talked about it at a deep level today. I think it started a long time ago, but the United Nations was founded by communists in America. But I think this is happening, and this is what I'm focused on. First of all, okay, what can I do culturally, literally, what can I bring to the table? So that's what I'm always focused on myself. So, I think there's certain things that I do. I make bigger moves than people even think. Yes, I get a lot of views, but I don't just make, I'm playing chess, like the 5D chess that the Q people think they're playing. So, I'm trying to figure out how to not only be a good person, but make an impact in a way that makes sense and is effective. So, the Republican Party, this is why I go hard at them sometimes. It's not that the Democrats are good, but you have two parties in politics, the Democrats and the Republicans, right? The Democrats are the socialists, and the Republicans are fighting the Republicans are not fighting the Democrats. They cave socially, they cave culturally, they try to reach a hand across the aisle, which is very respectful. I think it's awesome. I'm not saying to be mean to the left, but they don't do it authentically. So in my opinion, it's like, yes, the left is socialist, but where I differ from other conservatives is they act like they're fighting the socialists all the time. And in some ways they are, but in a lot of ways, they're just putting on a show, where I'm always trying to think, all right, we can't just keep losing. I make the joke that they're losing in slow motion with a cowboy hat. I say that to conservatives because I feel like, they put on this persona of like, we're fighting the left. And then they can't figure out how to counter the narrative, which it's difficult. And I understand, but, it's happening. But here's all you can do is what can we do? And my contribution, I have a few, but people think I'm just going to get behind this Republican and we're going to fight the socialists. It's like, it's not going to play out that way. But you can only do so much and everyone can only do so much. So I'm trying to do my thing and, counter it a different way. People get upset sometimes because I just don't say what a lot of Republicans want me to say at certain times, but I mean well. And if you watch my moves, like, I'll give you an example. Like here's something that I'm pretty pumped about this week. I made this and I saw something similar somewhere else, like on a page. It wasn't with these two headlines, but it kind of inspired me to find a different headline. This is Business Insider. I shared it. I have two Business Insiders and I highlighted it. It says, workers lost $3 trillion in the earnings during the pandemic. Women and Gen Z saw the biggest losses. And then another one said nearly 500 new billionaires joined the ranks of Bezos and Elon Musk as they became $5 trillion richer. You probably seen that everywhere. I made that. I mean, I put I saw some of the biggest meme accounts. It went all the way around the world. The reason I'm pumped about it is not just because I did it, but if you see why I think this is going to be effective, it says workers lost 3.7 trillion. Women and Gen Z saw the biggest losses. So I guarantee you hundreds of thousands of Democrats saw that and see, oh, we care about women. We care about Gen Z, right? That's who we fight for. Oh, we lost $3.7 trillion. That's not good. Yeah, those are the biggest losers. And the same with if you look at like the food, the statistics on life expectancy going backwards. Overdose were the reason that our life expectancy is now declining. Who's the biggest factor of overdoses, like that's losing the most life? It's actually Black people, according to their data. So it's like, I'm not trying to pander, but I think that was an effective meme. It went everywhere, but it wasn't like a meme that you'd look at and you're not thinking, oh my God, this is a conservative meme. Like I don't like this because it's Trump and build a wall. I'm like, women are losing money, workers are losing money, the billionaires are getting richer. And the reason that they're getting richer is because of the pandemic that the liberals and the women's movement has been supporting. So I think like stuff like that, is effective. Someone said I shared it on IG, but like that's why people get so mad sometimes. Like you rode Trump's coattails, and it's like, not really. I mean, of course I supported him when he deserved to be supported, but I never just ran around calling myself a Trump supporter. I was never just rocking a MAGA hat. I was never following the norm. And I don't say that to act like I'm special or anything. If people are, that's great. I meet people all the time that have MAGA hats. I don't think anything of it. But I'm saying that because as a news analyst and whatever I am, that's why it works. That's why it's made so many people wake up, because certain people are not trying to hear that. And I'm not pandering, but I'm trying to be effective. So when I put out certain content, it's not that I'm trying to pander to the left. I'm not. But I'm trying to be effective. I'm not trying to just talk to people who agree with me, and I'm not trying to lie either. But it's like, how do I? That's actually why I never show. Someone said you got to bring over the independents. I don't even show Fox News that much in my videos, and it's no disrespect, but I know liberals don't trust Fox News, and I know if I post CNN talking about glaciers melting, conservatives will appreciate it, even though it's CNN. So I do that for a reason. I never share right-wing news in my video breakdowns because I'm not just trying to get through to conservatives. They probably already agree with a lot of the content and know a lot about it. I want to get through to people on the fence, liberals. Most liberals are not that ideological. They don't know that much. They're just young. Like when I show people my videos on the vaccine and I explain certain things, they didn't know it wasn't FDA approved. They're like, really? No one's ever told them. They don't know. They're not like Portland Antifa. Most people are just college students and they're just like hanging out. So I always try to make my videos in a way that gets through to somebody that wouldn't normally see it, and just make it as simple as possible to understand. And that's just one small way. But in general, like you said, the socialists are taking over. I agree, but there's got to be something else, and I can only do so much, and everyone can only do so much. But there's got to be something else than what the conservatives and Republicans are doing, like the mainstream ones, because I feel like they're just putting on a show, and they're always a few steps behind. Like, I just see like these tweets from like the RNC and stuff, and it's just so cringy. I'm like, they're trying so hard, and I appreciate their attempts, but I'm just like, man, they are really dropping the ball. Like Trump helped them out so much. Honestly, the Republicans had no juice before Trump, and now they're just dropped. Like, there's momentum, and I'm just like, I'm like, what are you guys doing? God knows what they're doing, but it's all good. Whenever there's a void, you could fill the void with what, that's the beauty of the world. You don't have to hate people. It's like, that's an opportunity. If you don't see it, be it. Someone said to me on Twitter, I retweeted Dave Rubin saying something, and I'm not even the biggest Dave Rubin fan, to be honest, but I don't mind sharing people that I'm not I'm not obsessed with. If they say something I agree with or I want to comment on, I say it. But someone said to me, what's going to happen when people find out that you and Dave Rubin are shills? I was like, well, first of all, me and Dave Rubin are not in the same category. No, not saying I'm not saying I'm better than him or anything, but like, I'm way different than Dave Rubin. Dave Rubin's way different from me. I've never been on his show. You get what I'm saying? We're totally separate. So if you don't like Dave Rubin, don't drag me into that, vice versa. But I said, I'm not Dave Rubin, but also if you don't like what I'm saying, I'm not a shill, but whatever. If you don't like what I'm saying, why don't you say something? That's the beauty of it. Like, maybe I'm not saying what you would say, but I don't want to be you. That's why I do what I do. When I saw CNN, I didn't want them, so I wanted to do what I did, and I did it. So now I don't have to spend that much time hating on CNN. I'm just like, when they're right, I compliment them. When they're wrong, which is often, I laugh about it and I say they're losers. But it's like, you can be what you don't see. So I wasn't even trying to be sarcastic to him. I'm like, if you don't like me and Dave Rubin, I get why you don't like Dave Rubin. But in general, if you don't like me, you should figure out what you want to say and try to figure out how to do it. Because if I could do it, you could do it. I didn't have a news degree, or I didn't have any help. I just thought it was corrupt, and I knew how to use social media. And there's so many people like that. I've watched so many people go from here to here and gain a huge audience. Why? They're funny, they're interesting, they're good at memes. There's all sorts of different people. There's people that are black, white, gay, straight. I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen people turn nothing into something. So I'm trying to be inspirational. I'm like, if you don't like me, I don't care. But you can figure out what I'm not saying, and you could say it. I'm not stopping you. I might not like you, but you can do it. I'm trying to pat this guy on the back. I'm like, go out there in the world and make it happen, bro. Just figure out how to use Twitter and Instagram. All right, someone asked a question about Trump. I'm actually not going to take the bait today, because every time I read comments and people are like, don't talk about Trump, and I take the bait and then I start talking about it for 10 minutes and people say, dude, why are you talking about it so much? And I'm like, I don't know. I just read the comment. I'm not taking the bait. I'm going to talk about something else. I'm in a good mood. Let's not. Someone said, "Don't blame Trump for China's bee weapon." I'm not blaming anyone. This live stream has been too clean right now, and I curse, so I'm not talking about that kind of clean. But it's been clean. Let's not muddy the waters. I don't know if I'm gonna get this video done tomorrow. We'll see. Someone said, "Dang, I just wanted to hear your thoughts." No, I've talked about it before. I mean, I could weigh in on it, but I've said it so many times that I don't know if I should repeat it right now. Let's talk about something else. Teresa said hi with a heart face. Well, hello. Thank you for the heart face. I'll take it. Jorge Fruit said, what's up, Jorge? He said, bro, why you drink a different water bottle every day? Dude, I'm complex. Like this, I'm not trying to act like I'm so cool, but let's just say I know somebody who knows the people who run Mountain Valley Water. I would love a Mountain Valley Water sponsorship. They don't sponsor me. Trust me, I tell you. I like this water. The bottle's good. It tastes good. I got to talk to my plug because I would love to sell Mountain Valley water. So, I buy these glass bottles. I like glass bottles, but sometimes I'm on the move, Jorge. And when you're on the move, you got to drink the plastic. I don't want to drink the plastic. I'd rather drink the glass, but sometimes it's not convenient. So sometimes I got a Smart Water. Do I like Smart Water? I don't. I think it tastes gross and it's not a great brand. But listen, at a certain point, you just got to hydrate. So this is why I'm on the go. Sometimes I'm here, sometimes I'm there. I have my own water thing, a Berkey system, also not sponsored. I just have it. And sometimes I just pour it in a different bottle. But you're right. I have a lot of water bottles. Sorry. Maybe I should get my own or something and just have the same water bottle every day so Jorge doesn't make fun of me. That's fine. Ever try stainless steel or reusable glass bottles? I've probably had something of the sort, but I guess I lost it because I don't have it anymore. What's up, Ryan? Anomaly, hope you are well. What do you say about Chicago's crimes? I talk about them often because I think one, it's really sad. And, I've seen that experience even in a city closer to me. But, I think it's sad. And I definitely think it says a lot that only conservatives want to talk about it. I really do think conservatives care, not enough to go there and, be social workers or anything, but enough to be like, why are people getting murdered 7, 8, 9 people every weekend and Black Lives Matter is nowhere to be found? I think it's very telling. And I know people don't want to hear that, but it's like, if you just look at percentages, I'm not a math wizard on this and I don't have the data, but if you want to, okay, let's say Black Lives Matter. I 1,000% agree. Black Lives Matter. I don't want to see Black lives exploited, killed, murdered, nothing. Okay. So let's take a list of all the Black people who are dying in America earlier than they should be dying, not of old age or anything, like being killed too soon. Okay, at the lowest level, when, talking about young kids, it's murder. And most of the people who are killing them are other Black people in these cities. So, murder and gang violence is a huge one, not police violence and white violence. That's not even like a top 5 or 10 thing. But one of the biggest things it's not as romanticized, but it kills probably more people, would be overdoses. Overdose from drugs, legal and illegal, are killing a lot of Black people in this country. Also dieting, a lot of these diseases and people dying too soon, it's their diet and exercise routine. So, I know that's not ever going to be as trendy as like a George Floyd situation, and I understand why, but if you really care about Black lives, you got to talk about food, diet, exercise, access to that type of stuff, figure out solutions, and also gang violence. Like that's what's killing people by the tens of thousands. And I think it was, let me Google this real quick, because this is one rapper I've always loved. And when he did this, I was like, now he actually cares about Black people. Let me see. So if you've ever heard of Jadakiss and Styles P, one of my favorite songs. If you're not into curses, you won't like it because it's quite dirty, but the song's called We Gon' Make It. Have you guys ever heard that song? Jadakiss and Styles P. We gon' make it. The first song is, he says, I'm trying to think of the first line. He says, I don't know if I should say this because he said, never mind. I don't want to do it. There might be kids watching, but Jadakiss and Styles P, we gonna make it. But anyway, he built a juice bar. So it's called Juices for Life with Styles P and Jadakiss. He put a juice bar in the neighborhood that he used to live in, or one of the areas of New York City. So to me, that's like a Black Lives Matter move. Like, he knows when you go to certain cities, there's not that much healthy food. There is no juice bar. It's the white gentrified areas that have the juice bar with all the hipster people like Jordan Peele who hate their life so much but live in luxury. That's where the juice bars are. If you go to the hood, they don't have juice bars. It's all credit stores and store like liquor stores and stuff. So he put a juice bar in the hood or in an area I think he used to live in. That's dope. That's like real caring of your people, because it's not glorious. It's not like George Floyd glorious, but I'm not saying that that's glorious, but you get what I'm saying. It's not a big like, oh my God, everybody looks at it and cares, but that's like a thing that's actually going to help people, because that's what kills way more people than police, white people, or even gang violence would be diet, I think. So that's a rapper that's gangsta, but that's a gangsta move. Like, that's a real gangsta. It's like, let's put some juice in the hood. You got to love that. So that doesn't get as much attention as Black Lives Matter, but that's someone who actually cares enough to be like, there's no juice in this neighborhood. Let me put a juice store. That's going to probably save more lives than Black Lives Matter will ever save. So that's the type of stuff. Marlena said, hi from Big Island. I love Anomaly. I love Big Island. I was going to go this year, but the COVID situation made me not go. I love Big Island. It's one of my favorite places in the whole world, and I will be back eventually. Someone said that's some Dick Gregory. I love Dick Gregory. Dick Gregory's the best. He used to be sipping on the green juice. If you haven't seen and you want to watch an intelligent elder black man, and I say elder not to make fun of his age, he's like a wise sage in this video. Dick Gregory, I think it's called Dick Gregory, They Killed Prince. I think that's the name of one of the videos, They Killed Prince. And the other one, he talks about there's two Trumps. This guy's fascinating. Dick Gregory. You got to check out Dick Gregory. He's a absolute legend. And I want to read a quote from Dick Gregory too, because he's got so much knowledge. He was a true visionary. There's this quote I love from him. Hold on, let me see. It was about the newspapers, and this is similar to how I think. And I'm like, man, we kind of have the same mindset. Let me see. I gotta find this quote. Hold on, Dick Gregory quote. I'll be able to find it. It's gonna take me a minute. I buy a month. I'm gonna find the quote. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Dick Gregory said one time, I buy about 1,500 worth of papers every month. It's not that I trust them. I'm looking for the crack in the fabric. That's a Dick Gregory quote. I'm going to read it again. I don't spend this money on news, but he said, this was like old school. He said, I buy about 1,500 worth of papers every month. It's not that I trust them. I'm looking for the crack in the fabric. So that's kind of how I think. When I post CNN, people are like, why you post CNN? He said, I'm looking for the crack in the fabric. CNN will admit the truth sometimes, not often, but they will say the truth. So can you find the crack in the fabric? You know, it's a good quote. And if you watch the two Trumps video, he talks about two Trumps. He talks about he ran for president, and he brings up a Wall Street Journal article where he was winning in the votes and they shut the voting machine down. So he was saying they've been doing stuff for tens of years. So if you're a Trump guy and you think the election was rigged, watch that video of Dick Gregory. It's called There's Two Trumps. You might not like some of it, but he explains there was some problem with the machines decades ago. He ran as an independent. There was a problem with the machines and he was actually leading the race and they shut the machines down. And this was in the Wall Street Journal. They wrote about it. So it's wildly interesting. Dick Gregory, two videos, one of them called They Killed Prince, one of them called There's Two Trumps on YouTube. Let's see if it comes up. It's probably shadow banned because it's so epic. Let me see. Dick Gregory, Two Trumps. Let's see if it comes up. Yeah, it comes up. Dick Gregory, there are two Donald Trumps. It's like the third video down. And then this is on YouTube. And then Dick Gregory, They Killed Prince is the name of the video. Let me see. Dick Gregory, They Killed Prince. It's the first one. 3 million views. Yeah. Both highly recommended. Very, very good videos. That's a real black activist. I think I'm going to look at I'm just dropping Dick Gregory knowledge here real quick, but I think he had a lawsuit with the government at one time too. Let me look at his Wikipedia. I've read into it. Let me see. He's a comedian, but let me find it. Personal life. I want to say he sued the government and he won in a lawsuit. Let's see if I'm right. I gotta find this out. I think he did, but I can't find it right now, so I don't want to waste too much time. I'm sorry, I got OCD though. Dick Gregory sued and won. I want to say he sued the FBI or the CIA or something. I don't know that for sure. I got to look into it, but whatever. I got to do more research. But I feel like I read that somewhere. Maybe I'm wrong though. Yeah, I gotta do. I'm pretty sure, but I don't like to speak unless I'm 100% sure. So I gotta look. I gotta get my new stuff. Someone said Anomaly believes in chemtrails. That's just like a random straw man argument that we're not even talking about. I haven't said one word about chemtrails. I don't talk about stuff I don't know about. I know that they do geoengineering, and that's a fact. I'm gonna Google that for you. So this is what I was talking about. You're doing like a straw man argument, like, oh my God, Anomaly is so crazy. All right, ready? This is let me see, Rain mainstream article, Forbes, like I said earlier. China is launching a weather machine. Wait, China is launching weather control machines across an area the size of Alaska. China is launching the world's largest weather control machine with the ability to modify the weather in an area similar to the size of Alaska. China has never shied away from doing things on a massive scale, and this is yet another attempt of the Chinese government working on an unprecedented scale. So they're manipulating the weather on a size in an area the size of the biggest state in America. So why you got to jump in the comments and say Anomaly's talking about chemtrails, believes in chemtrails? We're not talking about chemtrails. I'm 20 layers deeper. I'm talking about Dick Gregory and YouTube videos. It's okay. Someone said, "Isn't that what Bill Gates is doing?" Well, he's doing two separate things. So I'm gonna read the headlines too. I like to stick to headlines because I know they don't want me to tell the truth. So when I do, I like to be very, very accurate. Because they hate that. They don't like the truth. So I don't like to smudge it. But this is Popular Science from 2009. It says, "Bored with PCs, Bill Gates sets his sights on controlling the weather. Microsoft's chairman is part of a joint patent filing for the use of fleet of vessels to stop hurricanes via geoengineering." So he filed for a joint patent to control the weather, to try to, what they said in this article is basically lessen a hurricane that was going to hit super hard and make it hit less. And I'm guessing if you could lower it, you could probably also increase it. But it doesn't say that. But I'm just saying, who knows? If he could do it, China could do it, anyone could probably do it at a certain point. But they didn't really follow up on that. That was in 2009. And he also is doing something with the sun that they try to fact check, although it's pretty obvious that it's happening. This is Forbes. It says a Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong? And he's working, I believe, with Harvard University scientists to examine the solution by spraying non-toxic calcium carbonate dust into the atmosphere, a sun-reflecting aerosol that may offset the effects of global warming. So he's trying to offset the effects of global warming and experimenting on it by trying to reflect the sun back into what they call space or whatever. I don't know. It's very interesting. Paul J said, "I have had doctors lie to me and tell me the vaccine is absolutely approved by the FDA." Oh, I know. I mean, it's emergency use authorized by the FDA, but it's not FDA approved. Doctors apparently are not as knowledgeable as they think, but Jen Psaki lied about that, or she told a little fibberoo, and I fact checked her, and then Facebook said I didn't, and then NPR defamed me. If I actually cared, which I don't because I have bigger things to do and I don't feel like going to court, I could probably sue NPR and I could probably win because they defamed me. You can't make up something fake and say Anomaly told a lie and no, I told the truth and you guys are too dumb to figure it out. I'm 20 steps ahead of you guys. But yeah, I mean, if Jen Psaki could lie about it, I'm sure some of them are ignorant. They know what they hear. They probably don't do the research that I do. So yeah, they know how to do what they learn in school. But as far as this new mRNA technology, most average doctors just never, that's not their specialty. They didn't discover mRNA. They didn't create the vaccines. They just get them and they put them in people's arms. And they probably watch the news. Maybe they watch Fox, maybe they watch CNN. So, as knowledgeable as they are about injecting vaccines and as knowledgeable as they are with surgery, and maybe they're a specialist and they do certain things, they don't know that much about the approval process and what's going on right now because they probably don't pay attention. So I'm not surprised that they lie. Someone said, "Go buy yourself some fancy water." Listen, I buy what I have access to, okay? I was in San Diego and they had water. It says, we have the best alkaline water in the world. We won best alkaline water in California, and it's real alkaline, natural, not added. And you know how much I love water. I was sipping that water up. It was at the store at my hotel. I'm just sipping on, according to them, the best alkaline natural water in California, no modify. Come on. I'm just don't tempt me with a good time. Okay. You bring up nice, good water, and I start getting that feeling again. I've got a feeling, like a Black Eyed Peas song. Someone said the ozone hole would happen. I think it filled itself or something. They're like, scientists are shocked. Let's look it up. What happened to the ozone layer? Ozone layer filled. Let's see. Record-breaking 2020 ozone hole closes. The record-breaking 2020 Antarctic ozone hole has finally closed at the end of December 2020. Wow. So they were fear-mongering about another. They fear-mongered forever about ozone holes. So they were trying to say in 2020, there's a record-breaking ozone hole, a new one, and it's already been healed. Scientists are seeing signs that the 2020 ozone hole now seem to have reached its maximum extent. Oh my God, it's back. Oh my God, we're all going to die. Oh my God, it's settled science. Oh, what do you know? Mother Nature healed itself again. Wow. Who would have thought? Imagine if they acted like your body didn't heal. Like, obviously, if it's bad enough, you could do surgery. But like, if you break a bone, your body heals. It might never heal exactly the same way, but like, your body literally heals itself with certain injuries. I injured my foot. My body, I don't even see it because, like, John Mayer told me one time my body was a wonderland, and I'm not gay. I'm just saying I believed it because I'm like, I'll just pretend a girl sing it about my body's a wonderland. But it really is, because my foot was healing, and I just listened to that song on repeat. No, I'm just kidding. But, it healed itself over the course of 2-3 months. Skin came back, muscles, like it. So imagine if they were like, no, your body doesn't heal yourself. No, we got to put this in. No, you don't have it. I said they would probably rip out your immune system and replace it with a big pharma box if they could. They would probably rip out your immune system and be like, no, that doesn't work. You should get the immune system Apple store thing. Like, that's what they would do if they could do it. I'm good. My body is a wonderland. Maybe I should listen to that song. Maybe it would be good vibes. And my body's just like my thumb, they're just weaving my thumb. You can't really see it, but this is my thumb that's injured. Look, I can move it. One doctor told me to move it. One doctor told me not to move it. I'm moving it because I think the most pain I have is from just keeping it stiff for so long. So maybe this is bad. Maybe I'll permanently suffer. Maybe I won't. I don't know. I'm out here moving thumbs because I can't get a straight answer from the doctors because they all say different stuff. J Spot has a super chat. He said, V exemption from religion grounds. God bless you. Someone said, Carol on Facebook said, Carol, you're on air. I like to pretend like I have a radio show and just say you're on air. Your body, hold on. Sorry, Carol, I lost you. I'm going to find it though. Your body is wonder, divine design. Our bodies are miracles in motion. That's like poetry. I'm going to read that again. Carol. Oh, your name's Carol. 2 Carols. Your body is a wonder, divine design. Our bodies are miracle in motion. That almost sounds like a haiku. You should, if you don't write poetry, you should. That's like a haiku in motion. You're out here dropping poems on me. Listen, don't tempt me with a good time. I like a good wordplay. I might even start lifting weights again. Let me see. I haven't. Oh, fuck. Let me not break my thumb on. Listen, one doctor said don't lift weights for 3 months. The other, listen, I'm lifting. Look I got 2 weights. My left arm, I look like a crackhead. My left arm's skinny now because I haven't lifted. This is my luck every time. Every time I start getting jacked, you should see pictures of me 4 years ago. I was even more jacked than I am now. And when I was, and then I got sick, and then I get jacked and I break my thumb. Every time I'm crushing it, is that God telling me? What's he telling me? What should I do? Should I not get too jacked for the gulag? Should I get too jacked for the gulag? Am I doing something wrong? Am I just unlucky? Am I stupid? Let me know, Lord. please. Because every time I try to get too jacked for the gulag, something random happens. Last year, I stepped on a car spike and it went through my foot, and I was out for like 4 months. I feel like freaking, I don't know who gets injured a lot. A player who gets injured a lot, whatever. The Brianna K, hold on. Let me see. The Brianna K band, Mike in the Pocket said, love your message from Vancouver. Thank you, Brianna. Promise said, speak healing and kind words to your thumb. Sounds silly, but words have a positive and negative vibration. All right. Thumb. Please, I'm lefty. It's my left thumb. I love you, thumb. Your body's a wonderland. I'm going to just play that on repeat for you. You could listen to John Mayer, and we'll rotate between your body's a wonderland and gravity, just because gravity, it's got that guitar solo is definitely going to have some healing vibes in. Hopefully, you're a good guy. Get back there, because we need you. There's a lot of things I got to do. I got to pick things up. I got to throw things. I got to swim. You can do it, buddy. All right. Is that good? Or I'm not into this new age stuff. I only look like it. How's my golf game? I suck at golf. So I will say though, Bryson's trainer, his name's Chris Como. He's I think he's a golf swing instructor / coach. I mean, I'm sure he's killing it. I talked to him for a while, and he's one of the better coaches in the world. So I might have to try to pay him one time and get a real lesson, because I'm athletic, but I don't have a good swing. When my thumb's back, I'm gonna start golfing. I suck at golf. I'm good at basketball, tennis, ping pong, pickleball, volleyball. I'm good at everything. Golf, I suck. I'm terrible at golf. It hurts me. And I'm not going to lie. Going to the US Open, I always, on television, I love watching basketball. Golf wasn't even my top 5 favorite sport. I would say, I'm not even joking, going to that event, maybe it's because I knew Bryson and I was watching him and rooting him on, but I had more fun, I think, at the PGA Tour, the US Open, than I would rather go to a golf event again than ever go to a basketball game, a soccer game. And I love playing these sports. It was probably one of my favorite sporting events I've ever been to. It's actually really cool, like in person. And I'm not even a big golf guy, but a lot of exercise. I walked like 30 miles the week, so I got a lot of exercise. It's fun. It's like thrilling when you're there. It goes pretty quick if you follow one golfer. I'm a fan, okay? I might start dressing like a golfer now. It was very fun. I unironically like it more than other sports now. Someone said it was rigged. I don't know. Hopefully not. That would be disappointing. Someone said, I'll teach you golf. I appreciate it. Anomaly, what % would I say that Trump is controlled opposition? I'm not going to answer that today because I haven't said anything about Trump, so I'm going to leave it alone. You can ask me that another day, and I'll give you a percentage. But it's been such a positive conversation. I haven't complained about Trump once, and I want to go a whole stream without even weighing in on Trump. I'm not even in that world. So we'll talk about it another day. But I don't want to answer it today. You could let other people. What do you think? Percentage? You could answer in the comments. Angela said, I saw Anomaly, but I couldn't get a picture. What does it say? I saw you, Anomaly, but I couldn't get a picture. If you see me, you could just say hi and I'll take a picture with you. So I don't know. Maybe you were passing or something, but I'm pretty approachable. If you say hi, I take a lot of pictures. I probably got recognized like 10 times. And anybody who asked for a picture, I took a picture. I always do. All right. I'm going 7 more minutes max. I already dress like a golfer. This is a good golf hat. Listen, the God Bless hats, dreamrare.com, godblesshats.com. This is a real golf hat. You put this on, you put on a golf. You guys can't see on YouTube. You can see. Sorry, Facebook. I have these like short shorts because listen, I'm a John Stockton fan, so I'm bringing back the short shorts. I had these short shorts, and a lady comes up to me and she says, "Are you a tennis player?" And I said, "No, I just dress like one." And she started laughing, but I had short shorts on, and everybody else is dressed like a golfer, and I'm dressed like a moron. So she came up to me and she's like, you must be a tennis player. And I'm like, you're just saying that because I have stupid tennis shorts on. But I actually do play tennis. I'm not like a tennis player, but I play tennis. She's like, you're the only one dressed here like this. One day I had my big Jesus Christ shirt on with Jesus like surfing with his feet on the ocean. another day I had like a no sleeve shirt with short shorts. I definitely stuck out. There were some weirdos there though. Like there's a guy dressed in a cow outfit. He was just wasted crushing beers like in a big cow outfit. I was like, well, that guy definitely sticks out a little more than me. Anomaly, how do you feel the Jesse Lee Peterson interview went? I think it went well. I mean, hopefully people liked it, but I thought it was one of my better Jesse Lee Peterson interviews. He didn't like troll me that hard, but maybe it's because I complained last time. I didn't complain to him, but I know his team, and I told them that I didn't want, like, he always loves to poke, and I don't mind being poked, but he tried to kind of not like he asked a question about an event I didn't go to and try to act like I had a problem with someone. I don't do drama, so I was like, dude, don't try to TMZ me, bro, with some stupid stuff I don't care about. But no, I thought the last live stream went really well, but maybe I don't know. That's for the viewer to decide. Someone said, I'm in need of a new hat. We'll hit up your website, dreamrare.com, DREAMRARE. And if you can't remember that for some reason, it's my Instagram, dreamrare.com. GodBlessHats.com, all one word, made in the USA. They got the flag here. I'm not lying. I'm saying this hat is fire. I might have to get a new one. I don't know how washable they are, but I had this sunscreen that I put on, and it like stained. I'm staining my clothes and stuff with this stupid sunscreen, so I might have to order myself a whole new hat. It still looks clean, but I don't know. I'm due for a new one. They are very good hats, though. I can't lie. So I mean, obviously I've lied before in my life, but I can't sell a crappy product and act like it's good. That's why when I love these hats, because I actually like these hats. They feel good. These ones are a little bigger. I like the small ones too, but I don't know. It's got an American flag on it. It's good quality. I've bought shitty hats before that like fell apart in a week or two. These ones are not bad, so I actually like them. Is it dishwasher safe? That I don't know. I mean, I probably should try to wash it. I mean, since I make them, I guess I could just try. I could put it in the dishwasher and see if it just gets destroyed or not. I'll let you know. But yeah, I don't know. It might say on the website. It might not. I'll try to find out for you if that's a thing. I'm sorry. I'm not knowledgeable. Someone said, Anomaly, get with some people and bottle your own water. Everybody buy Anomaly water. Do it. I like Mountain Valley. I mean, maybe that's true, but I do know somebody connected to the Mountain Valley people. Listen, I'm not trying to brag. I'm not like one of those people you see. They're like, do you know that person? I know that person. I know that person. I'm not trying to say I know everybody, but let's just say I'm one connection away from Mountain Valley water. And I also got to meet Patricia Bragg of like Bragg's Apple Cider Vinegar. And I've met her twice. I've been on her property, actually. She's a wonderful woman. But I would sell those products too. I feel like Bragg Apple Cider Vinegar and all her little like nutrition yeast and stuff, all of it's pretty bomb. Yeah, Bragg. I would sell that too, probably. But I don't know who to talk to try to. I don't know if my brand is too toxic, you know? Maybe my brand is a little too controversial. I'm not sure. We'll find out. Who's the front runner for Cali governor? I'm trying to schedule an event or a debate because I just don't think anybody's really pulling away. Caitlyn Jenner by default. But now everybody's telling me there's this new guy, I forget his name already, Anthony something. They're telling me how great he is. He's the greatest guy ever. He saved communism. My friend Carmen was telling me. They're all telling me this guy's the best. I'm not saying it sarcastically like he's not, but I'm like, he just jumped into the race yesterday. How much money's this guy got? It's not about money, but you got to get your name out there. You got to get things in people's mailboxes. Like if I ran for governor, I'm running right. You know, I'm not just running to run. So I feel like a lot of people, they might be great people, but like, you know, you gotta get your stuff together. How are you going to get in every mailbox? How are you going to get your name recognition out there? How are you going to get every conservative in this state to figure out who you are? It's going to take more than social media. You got to get your mail game. You got to get your in-person game. You got to get your ground game. So I don't know. I mean, there's definitely people who have put in the work and some who didn't, but there's so many people running, and I'm like, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm going to schedule a debate, and I'm no pushover. I'm no Chris Wallace. I'm no whatever their names are at MSNBC. I'm going to ask the tough questions. Yeah, I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to jab them, but they're going to be like, I'm the best person because I'm a good person. That's great. I'm glad you're a good person. But like, I've heard that story before. Joe Biden comes from Scranton. Kamala Harris is that little girl that, changes races, whatever's convenient. No, I know she's multiracial. I'm just kidding. But in general, it's like, I've heard that story. I was a little boy too. So I'm not trying to hear that. I'm like, do you got this going? Like, are we going to win? Or are we just playing patty cakes? Like, I'm not in this to lose. So we'll see what happens. But I think I might be able to schedule a debate between 3 candidates, and I'm going to be the moderator. And I'm not playing around. I'm not just sitting here asking these little puppy dog questions. I'm like, you going to win? Or are we just having fun? Because this is not a game to me, folks. I put on my game hat. You think a live stream anomaly is all? I have different zones. People will say I'm bipolar, but on the basketball court, I'm not live streaming. I'm not out here to just talk, answer questions. I'm out here to win. If I win 11-0, you better be happy it wasn't 12-0. I could have hit a two-pointer at 10-0. When I'm playing tennis, I'm out here trying to do my best Andre Agassi impression. I'm not out here to make friends. In fact, I don't even care if I lose my best friend. I'm trying to win the damn game. And in debate, everybody's talking about how great they are. That's awesome. I've heard that story. Can you win? Do you have a ground game? Do you have the campaign funds? Hopefully from not sketchy situations. Are we going to win, or are we just playing games? So you put me in debate mode, I'm going to dress like Chris Wallace, and I'm going to lay the damn smackdown on all of them. So listen, we got a long ways to go here, but I'm not playing around. Did you and Bryson talk about a collab track? Did you know we actually have a collab track? Y'all want to hear it? I have a song with Bryson. We might do another. Yeah, we've talked about it, but he never, he didn't hit me up for the new album. It's all good. I love Bryson. I know he likes me. When it comes, it comes. I'm busy. He's busy. I support his albums. He supports mine. We have a good relationship, but it's also my fault. I could probably do more, but we have a song together already, and it's a flame song. And then eventually we'll get another one. But I just love seeing him win and put out stuff. And when that time comes, it comes. But we've definitely talked about it. We've just never connected it because I'm always doing other stuff, and Bryson does more music. It's my fault. I wait for him to send me a beat or something where, I could be more assertive and just be like, I have a beat, but I don't have any beats right now. So we'll get it going. But I love his new song, Safe Space, the one they deleted off Spotify. It's such a banger. Here, I'm going to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip of it real quick. This is a clip that isn't too, like they're like, oh my God, we got to delete it. But this is Patriot J, who's on the song too. Bryson's verse is fire too. But this is their new song, Safe Space. Just listen to the lyrics. Listen, it's pretty good.
They would ban me if I tweeted everything in this verse, but I would get a Grammy if I wore a dress in a purse. They want every black man to be like Don Lemon, it hurts. They only love us for we might brown dead in the dirt. If you like BLM and you watch CNN and you brain dead, probably wear a mask in the bed while you laying there with a Fauci figure in your rear and a blank stare, 'cause you don't went along with this head.
That's the song they deleted. They let people rap about murdering people, but they can't let that. I'll just read the lyrics for people who didn't hear it. As Patriot J, he said, they would ban me if I tweeted everything in this verse, but I would get a Grammy if I wore a dress and a purse. They want every black man to be like Don Lemon, it hurts. They only love us when we Mike Brown, dead in the dirt. That's fire. If you like BLM and you watch CNN, then you brain dead, probably wear a mask in the bed while you laying there with a Fauci finger in your rear. That's a banger. That's my favorite song right now. And they deleted that whole song off Spotify. Liberals are such babies. They allow black rappers to rap about killing grandmas. And then my friends who are both black make a fire song just talking about conservative stuff. And they ban the freaking song. They're such losers. Oh my gosh. But we don't even care. Bryson, me, Patriot J, we're all winning anyway. We don't. Bryson's not crying about this. Patriot J's not crying. We're not crying censorship. We don't care. It's fine. People will view us somewhere else. It's really good. You got to hear it. It's called Safe Space. They have a lyric video The whole song is just the whole thing is a banger. Bryson comes out and in the song, the whole theme of the song is just saying everything they don't want you to say. So Bryson's going through everything that he believes that they don't want him to say, and he just says it anyway. And then Patriot J comes in. That's what rap is about. Rap is about pushing boundaries and saying something real. It's not about Eminem rapping about wearing a mask. It's like that's not edgy. So ridiculous. He did snap. That's my favorite verse from him. But if you want to hear me and I'll play the song that me and Bryson have. It's called, what is our song called? I don't even remember, but I'll play my verse real quick. I mean, I'll play part of Bryson's too, and then I'll play my verse. It's called, I can't even find it. Did they delete it off of YouTube? Let me see. Bryson Gray, Anomaly. I think Owen Schroyer's on the song from InfoWars. Oh, Censor Me. All right, this is a song. It's on Bryson's first album. I'm on the album, so I'm gonna just play part of his verse and then I'll play my verse. It's called "Censor Me." We got.
I'm gonna let it breathe, yeah. I'm back and I'm lit. The Second Amendment is my government. They send me that verse, so I walk with a stick. Like I'm going hiking, they gon' throw a fit.
Shout out to Jones, shout out Money Worthy. And if it was, I hope that you heard me.
If you conservative, they gon' do you dirty. Follow on politics, Twitter be purging. Twitter suspended me. They think they scamming. They think that they ended me. They must have got that I keep my same energy. I'ma go harder since they wanna send me.
It's Bryson.
Started and they wanna finish me. Still gonna say Bryson Gray keep on offending me. I'ma make sure that it's a sick.
And this is my part right here.
That's all money.
They try suspending me, make me an enemy. Even though I'm chilling, preaching like ministry, I think they jealous why they get ahead of me.
Right wing is rising from U.S. to Italy.
Biden is boring.
Warren thinks she's Cherokee. Trump rally lines they be longer than centipede.
It ain't my fault that you suck and you bury me. Stop bringing searches, you know it's embarrassing.
Y'all Silicon Valley trying to be the daddy. Give each other Grammys. That'll touch us more than over half the planet. I don't got a planet. This is just a sample. If I had a cure for disease and damage, you would probably try to ban it. I ain't trying to join your cult. It's not organic. Not my cloth. We cut from very different fabric. You ain't really liberal. You just mind control. Google, Facebook, Twitter.
They just like control.
All these late shows lying. They just scripted from the corporations. Massive lies is also orchestrated. Google rigging all the algorithms. They be brainwashing all the average children. They be book burning like the Alice villains. It's a sneaky liberal. All that Malcolm Dellum. I ain't beta. I'm an alpha winner. Got the alphabet like how these sound so gifted. I'm the greatest rapper that they ousted quickly because they knew I wouldn't sell it out. I'm different. I'm the truth. It's a powerful weapon. So get to stepping out on the cap. And then we just threw on Owen Schroyer from InfoWars because, we could just do stuff like that. So that's Bryson Gray. Anomaly, Censor Me, it's called. It's still on Spotify. At least I think it is. It's on Bryson's first album. So Censor Me. Bryson Gray featuring Anomaly, featuring Owen Schroyer. Listen, this is the type of stuff that, these things just pop up. I have a song called Bioweapon too. I'm thinking to myself, they could delete my song now. Now that they deleted Bryson's song, it's like they could say anything. They could be like, oh my God, you're denying science. Your song can't go on. Listen, we're going to get some. This is Bioweapon. I actually never released this song on Facebook because I didn't want it to get banned. But right now, I don't really care. Now it's funny because honestly, I'm not saying it was a lab leak, but when I put this song out, if I would have put it on Facebook, this is how, I'm not saying I'm afraid, but like, Facebook's so crazy, I can't even drop my song on Facebook because I knew they were going to try to say I was saying it was a lab leak, and now they're saying it's a lab leak. But I made this song in March or April. It's called Bioweapon. Listen, I'm not going to play the whole thing, just a little bit.
Pray to God, pray to God. Yeah, pray to God, pray to God. Yeah. Bioweapon viruses filled in my environment. Socialism coming, I ain't talking about the firemen.
Y'all thought we were crazy listening to Alex Jones, and the city shutting down and you can't leave out your homes. Look out for the drones, they coming with the tanks. This happens when the media is working for the banks.
Now everybody cast away like Tom Hanks.
Looking at his Instagram, it really makes you think. Flow like an animal, they try to say I'm a radical cause I'm cool like Barry Manilow. They be some cannibals doing rituals, it's magical. Taking heavily at your capital, yeah. Predatory loans, taking out your home, take a vaccine, chill. I don't want a pill, this is not a drill. I don't want a chip, I don't want a deal. I be independent, I like my amendments. I don't want to bend it, I don't want a sentence. I am on a vengeance, I will not regret it. I am not defenseless, I will first protect you. We let the enemy get too friendly. Now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy.
Pray.
Listen,
Pray.
that's just that's just casual. That's when I'm stuck in my house. I just throw that out, and then I'm back to the video. So that I'm on Spotify, all the Apple, I don't know, Amazon. Isn't that sad? They own all the music, Spotify, Amazon, but I'm on all that. I got a few songs, but one day I'm gonna drop an album, but I'm not. It's like with my debate thing. I'm not playing around. I'm dropping singles. They're cool. If I drop an album, I'm coming for the Grammy. Although they'll never give it to me because I'm not a weirdo. But I got to drop a fire. Like when I drop an album, it needs to be crisp. The mix, the master, the production. So there'll be a time. I got to finish my book first. We'll get there. Someone said focus on the rap, brother. Rap has been great for my life. It definitely opened a lot of doors, but so has the video. So there's a time for everything. God gives people certain times to do certain things. And, I like rap, but I love doing this. This has blessed my life so much. So it's not like an ego thing. Like I have to rap. I have to make a song. It's like, I don't even feel like I have to make a song. Like I'm going to the US Open to hang out with Bryson DeChambeau. And then I'm going to come back here and do a live stream in my house. Like when I drop a song with Bryson, I'll drop a song, but I don't even care that much anymore, where I'll do an album and it'll be hard, but I don't necessarily want to be around rappers and musicians. And to be honest, I don't even want to be on tour. I used to want to be on tour. Now I just want to go on vacation. I don't want to be on a tour bus. I don't want to be on the road for 80 days. I'm too bougie now. I want to be in like a 5-star hotel, or in Hawaii with my friends. I don't want to tour. So I don't have the same desire to be like, I got to be a rapper. I'm like, I'm me now. I just do my thing. And when we drop a song, but I don't know. Let's slow it down. I don't feel like people need to take me seriously as a rapper. I'm like, I don't care if people hate my rap. I'm going to just keep cranking out these videos. And I am, like Eminem said, I am whatever you say I am. So I'm not really concerned. Before he turned into a pro mask rapper, I don't care. We'll take it at the time. I want to write this book. And then I want to write children's books eventually, children's rhyming poem books. Shout out to Shel Silverstein. Where is he? That's my guy, Shel Silverstein. I'm gonna drop some Shel Silverstein style, situationals on the servers eventually. All right, I gotta go soon. I overstayed my welcome. Sorry, it got too lit. See how's my thumbs doing? We're all right. Shared the bioweapon song on Facebook. Thank you. I have a song with Trapped too, the band Trapped. That song has a couple million streams. It's on their thing. That was a huge song because then I get to do that song when they're on tour. I don't know if y'all heard that, but I shared that on Facebook because it's pretty safe song. Let me see if it's in their top. I know it's not even in their top songs anymore. Uh-oh, we fell off the charts, folks. I can't even find it. I'll find it. Hold on. Let me see. Trapped. But there's a time for everything. Popular release. Oh, here it is. Come Together. Let's see. It's got 1.9 million streams on their Spotify. I don't know where that money is. I got to get that money. It's not all about money, but that's a good amount of money. So I can't find the money for that song. It's probably got total like 3 to 5 million streams, and I've never seen $1 for it. It's not Chris's fault. I mean, I just don't know I don't know. I got to figure out how to get those royalties. That's probably like $5,000 or something for me. Not that I'm just saying royalties wise, if anybody's an upcoming artist, if you could hit 1 million streams on Spotify, you could get a couple grand if you're the only artist on it. If you can get a 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, you can make good money. Like I'm not getting into Bryson's money, but I love that he's killing it, because when you can get millions of streams consistently, you can make a living on that easily. It's a good amount of money. So inspiration. Someone said all the stores have signs that say unvaxxed have to wear a mask. Now with strain Delta more deadly, of course, vax passport coming soon. Yeah, I think that's my beef with all the vaccine pushing from DeSantis and Trump. It's not that I don't want people to do what they want. I want people to do what they want medically. I want people to have the option. If that makes them feel good, that's fine. If that makes them healthier, that's on them. But the more people who get vaccinated, especially among the young people in the 50 to 40, the easier it's going to be to roll out the digital passport. And I think that's what they're doing. If I thought people were just going to get vaccinated and it didn't matter, why would I care? People have gotten the flu shot. I have family members that get the flu shot every year. Have I ever cared or shamed them? I don't care. As long as they don't force me to get it, that's always been my thing. But now they're rolling out a digital vaccine passport. And if 60, 70% of the population gets it, they're going to, they can't do it if enough people don't get it. That's what I think. So unfortunately, that's the game that they're playing. So, they're freaking out that the numbers are not that high, because how are they going to put a digital passport if only 50% of people get it? They can't. They're going to go out of business. They're not going to have the power. All of this is like compliance and what people will do, but that's just my take. Someone said, I also rap about trains. That's dope. I like a good train. No, I have a song about trains. Do I? I don't know, but trains are dope. Thomas the Tank Engine, real trains, respect. Someone's got to drive the train. That's a kid's dream. And then you grow up and you're like, do I really want to be a conductor? There are conductors out there, but every kid wants to be a conductor. As you get older, you really got to ask yourself, 15, 16, 17, do I really want to be a conductor? And if you do, that's awesome. But a lot of kids fall off the game. They're like, it's like a firefighter. Firefighters are awesome, but every kid wants to be a firefighter. And then you get 15, 16, and the cream of the crop starts rising. They start volunteering. They start signing up for fireman camp or whatever. And then all the other kids are like, I thought you want to be a fireman. You're like, bro, I wanted to be a Power Ranger and a Ninja Turtle. I wasn't serious. I was just living that life. And he's like, it's not a joke to me. I wasn't joking around when I said I wanted to be a conductor. He's like, I'm out here skipping college, driving trains. This is my lifestyle. I'm like, dude, I thought we were just kidding. I thought it was a fantasy. He's like, it was a fantasy for you. I really was going to be a Power Ranger, but it wasn't an option. But what I'm trying to say is respect for the train engineers out there, because everybody says they want to do it, and it's all talk. It's like politics. They're just talking. And then the very chosen select few go out there, crush it. And with no trains, you don't have a lot of these products you have today. So respect your local engineer, not just the other engineers, the train engineers and the firefighters, because they're out here putting out fires, and someone's got to do it. All right, I got to go. This has been fun, but I'm screwing up my hand. I'm fine, but too much movement. I'm like hitting my table with my thumb and stuff. It's not right. I gotta calm down. Someone said train conductor and astronaut. Yeah, train conductor is easier to be though, because you go to NASA and you're like, hey, I'm here to be an astronaut, and they're saying not so fast. You can't just be an astronaut. You got to go through training like Buzz Aldrin. If you want to be Buzz Aldrin, you have to know how to tell you got to know how to tell a lesson. Sorry, I almost said a different word. I didn't want to misspeak. In order to be Buzz, you got to be able to be a good lion. You got to be a fierce lion, like Simba. You got to be lion to get to that position, because it's not easy to get past the Van Allen radio belt. You got to really go to get there. So I have respect for Buzz Aldrin, because he's out here really explaining what it takes to be an astronaut. I think there's like a video where they're like asking him about space, and he was like stressed out about the interviews afterwards. And they're like, bro, you just went to space and your number one concern is like interviews. I'm just trolling. I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Listen, talk to your experts. Okay. I'm not the ones. Talk to the Elon Musks and the NASAs. I'm just joking. But God bless you guys. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Appreciate y'all. I'll be back. Someone said, please get completely healed. I'm actually pretty good. I mean, my thumb is definitely probably going to be messed up. Like I'm not forever, but it's displaced a little bit. It's a small piece, but it didn't even hurt before I did this. I didn't even know it was broken. I just noticed it looked bad, but I guess I have a high pain tolerance. The most it hurts, I feel like, is from being so stiff. So the reason I'm moving it is because I don't know. It doesn't hurt where the bone is. It hurts where I haven't moved it. So I got to keep it moving. That's what I think. But I don't know. I'll trust the experts. The science has been settled, folks. Have a good one. God bless you. And if you like the hat, it's at godblesshats.com. If you do like hats, it's a good hat. I'm working on getting stickers. They're going to be I think we're going to eventually give out a sticker for free with every 2 hat or 2 shirt purchase, or hat and a shirt, any 2 things purchased. We're working on that. And then I'm going to try to get the black hats and t-shirts. I'm working on all that. It's my fault. I've been busy or just not prioritizing it. So we're working on new merch. But for now, we have the white God bless hat. We have the black God bless beanie, which is pretty tight. And it's a good beanie too. I went through like 5 beanies in order to get one. I have kind of a fat head. So I wanted one that was a little fatter because they had some skinny ones. I don't like that. I don't want the thing sucking on my head too much. So it's a little wider. Hopefully it works on your head too. But the black God bless beanie, godblesshats.com. And then we got the way too jacked for the gulag tank top and the is thinking illegal yet tank top with the fake post or whatever. You guys get it. Have a good one. I'll be back soon.